is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Strong opening. Welcome to DBL. It's Wednesday, October 28th. I'm Tori. I'm here with Al. Good to see you.
Hello.
Good to see you. And Lindsay Granger joins us from home. Lindsay, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. How you guys doing?
We're doing okay. Let's get right to it because you might have heard this about the looting and the demonstrations in Philadelphia. If you're in Philly or Pennsylvania, please write us in. It is all over the police shooting of Walter Wallace Jr. So for a second night now, Philly has been just torn apart with demonstrators confronting police and multiple stores being looted. Police said that the situation last night had rapidly gone downhill and that some areas were just a total loss. Now, let me tell you the story so you know the background. This is 27-year-old Wallace Jr. He was killed on Monday by 2 police officers. Now, Wallace suffered from mental health issues, and police have been called multiple times that day and was explained to them that he had mental health problems and that he was having an episode. He was shot 14 times by officers. Video of the shooting did go viral. We do want to give a warning to our viewers. This is graphic. Take a look.
Yo, watch my wood. Yo, this crazy on here. Oh! Oh! Oh!
I am going to keep reading. I just needed a breath. Wallace's family is speaking out against the looting and the violence. They're also questioning the use of force by police, wondering why they didn't use a taser. Excuse me. Take a look.
Does everybody have any respect for my family and my son to stop this violence and chaos was going on in the city?
Yes, I was telling the police to stop. Don't shoot my son. Please don't shoot my son.
The man was suffering. He was on doctor's care. He was on a regimen of lithium. It's emotionally taxing to think about how you could call for assistance and wind up with the people who you called killing you. I can't even conceive the concept.
Okay, so not an easy story to do. Lindsay, what are police officers supposed to do if they don't have tasers? We're now learning that not every officer in that area was given a taser. They all were given guns. They weren't all given tasers. But what are they supposed to do if someone's coming at them in somewhat of a manic episode? What did you think?
I think that we need mental health professionals on the scene. As you can see, the mother was screaming for help and for the police not to kill her son. Her main goal was de-escalation, which is why they were called. And I wish that the police cared about de-escalation as much as his family members and his mother did. And when people continuously talk about these riots, sure, we're never saying that riots are the way to go, but they're clearly easy to understand. I mean, police have been on the attack of black people since they were created, its inception. So if you look at the historical context of police in the South, they were slave patrol, catching and killing black people. So if we're talking about what's going on right now, we're not putting the right people in place to protect black people. Why would people not be upset? What would you have them do in Philadelphia? They're really at a tipping point. Even I look at the story, I couldn't watch the video. We're watching the same thing happen over and over again and nothing getting done, which is why I continuously say it was my #1 issue, because this is not going to stop happening until we really change the system and change all that it's built upon.
Well said. And Al, you know, we talk about defunding the police, and I think that was branded so terribly because it's not defunding, it's reallocating, right? It's moving money to where there could be a mental health advocate who could have come up there and understand this man is clearly in a manic state. But is it the organization of the police or is it those cops' fault, Al? I want to see what you think about that.
Well, the reason that Lindsay and myself and the people of Philadelphia and the people of all over are upset about this is because it ends like this, but we could have stopped this at the beginning. This is a mental health issue. I went down the Walter Wallace rabbit hole. This young man is unfortunately had to have the police call on him many times from his family members because they were in fear because he was experiencing, he had lost a thread. He was having a mental health break and he needed help. I interviewed a doctor, a social worker on this show that was saying that she was able to de-escalate, social workers are able to de-escalate 75% of the mental health calls that they get. This young man, from what just my non-educated opinion, should not have even been on the street from what I read that he had done in the past. This man needed to be somewhere medicated under a doctor's care. And when negligence happens at the top, it trickles down to where we saw what we saw on that street. The police, I've listened to what the police commissioner had to say. I listened to what former officers had to say. They did the whole, we have to review the footage some more, but they said if a man with a knife is approaching, he can close the distance quickly, so they weren't ready to castigate him yet. But I'm saying before we get to that point, Lindsay, this young man, this family had been calling saying this man needs help and nothing was done. And that's my frustration. And now it leads to his father on CNN with Chris Cuomo last night. And when they asked about his son, his first thing was like, please stop looting. That's not what my son's name and his life and his legacy needs to be about. So it's just a sad situation all around.
Yeah, I mean, we don't advocate looting. We're against rioting. We're upset about all of that. But the frustration of seeing this again and again, some of you just wrote in, I'm just so numb about this. We seem to do these stories over and over again. It seems like if this system of the police, I'm not pointing out specific cops. I'm really not. I'm not saying all cops are bad even. I'm saying if this system continually happens, there's a pattern, and perhaps you should dismantle the system itself and reallocate it.
But instead of calling 911, Lindsay, what do you think about having another number? Like if you're going to dig on your property, I think you call 311.
Right, like 988 or
why
something,
wouldn't you
right?
call something if somebody's having a mental health issue that a mental health professional would come over rather than guys with guns?
There's a bill in Congress, I believe, for that. Linz, what's your take on that?
I mean, we can go into layers about how the family was protecting themselves with somebody mentally ill in the home. As somebody with a mentally ill family member, you know, I understand that there's not just the easy solution of let's put them in a home or let's be able to afford this care that's proper and the right care for somebody that is suffering from mental illness. So just to say that the family should be, you know, he went through other instances of mental health issues, of course, yes, he did. But we need somebody to speak to reach out to that can come protect them and fix the situation. Maybe a healthcare system or something that will protect people like this, as opposed to police coming out and killing them when the mother was really crying and literally crying for help.
Yeah, it was really hard to watch. Please write us in if you're in Pennsylvania or Philly to let us know a firsthand account. We'll keep you updated on this story. Now, this is a very hard turn, and I want to just acknowledge that. We do have to give a big DBL shout out for the LA Dodgers. Yes, for the 32 years, the Dodgers are the World Series champions, beating out the Tampa Bay Rays in Game 6. It is a huge win for the team and for all the Dodgers fans out there. And this is pretty crazy. Third baseman Justin Turner, okay, that's he right there in the red hair. He got pulled from the game in the 7th inning after his coronavirus test came back positive. But he was back on the field after the big win for the team photograph. And check this out. He removed his mask for the photo. First off, I want to give a big congratulations to Los Angeles. They're having a heck of a year. LA Lakers, LA Dodgers. I watched the game. I love LA, so bravo. Big win. But this Justin Turner, why are we getting the positive test 7th inning in, Al?
I think that was strange, and I think that was just, as they call that, the CYA, you know, to make sure that, like, hey, we told him, so if he stayed or he came back out, that's not on our organization anymore. But
7th inning doesn't do anything.
What if we find out that somebody eventually gets really sick from this? I mean, people are out there yelling, they're exasperated. Is it better it's outside? Yes, but he was sitting next to an older gentleman in that picture. So I just worry about now we're just kind of all getting used to this, like, hey, no, you know, Al might have it, whatever, test. Yeah.
Right. Lindsay, what do you think about this? I mean, we're super excited for Los Angeles. I just don't want anyone to get hurt. And it seems odd he wouldn't have gotten a test before the game.
Right, it's such a weird time. I read a message LeBron James put out on social media yesterday, like, can we please have a parade for all the celebrations that are in order? Because some of these experiences are really once in a lifetime for a lot of these people. But I think we have to protect people more importantly than celebrating, which is a really tough thing because their whole life was looking towards winning at the highest level, which they have.
Exactly right.
This is a big win for them, and they totally deserve it. And the I always feel bad for the other team. Good job, Tampa Bay Rays. You tried hard.
And are we going to tell our viewers that you watched the game?
I did watch the game. I did.
How many innings?
There was 9. Top of the 9th. A man named Mr. Pitcher. Lindsay, stick around. No, Kurosawa, and also
Kershaw. Kurosawa is something you put on Thai food.
Okay. Coming up on DBL, people love getting creative with their Halloween decorations, but do these stripper skeletons cross the line? Can't wait to hear this response. Plus, we're chatting with the first Black Real Housewife of New York, Ebony K. Williams. And as we go to break, we got to thank our coworkers who are taking the pandemic seriously and working from home. There was also like a Jones pitcher, a Johnson, a Smith.
You're just going through the phone book.
Urias, a Brady.
Wow.
Sears.
Along with the most honest and entertaining talk in daytime, DBL is telling stories that matter.
In a way, you're kind of admitting that you are not proud or happy with yourself.
From a woman who began bleaching her skin as a teenager to a model who made the choice to amputate both of her legs.
We are so proud of you.
Tiger King's Carol Baskin answers the questions everyone wants to know.
Oh my God. Well, you know, there was like a hitman that was hired to kill me.
And nothing's off limits with Nancy Grace.
Guess what, little girl? You're gonna be charged with murder too.
In DBL's True Crime Chronicles, the origin story of the Amber Alert. And in Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted, a woman spends 17 years in prison for killing her son, but she didn't do it.
You don't get to wake up from it and realize that it was just a dream.
Also, a world-renowned psychic gives us a reading you have to see to believe. And our favorite mentalist, Wayne Hoffman, absolutely blows our minds.
What is it? Okay, I'm gonna need some purity water over me.
With all of that, and the election, the pandemic.
That is insane to me.
We have a lot to talk about. So join our conversation every day this November on DBL. We look so good, don't we? Cool. All right, welcome back to DBL. A woman in Texas is going head-to-head with her homeowners association over her risque Halloween display. So it's modeled after an adult nightclub with the skeletons posing as strippers. Her candy strippers at the candy shop display has been attracting a lot of attention from the ghouls and the boys in the yard. Oh, I get it. The ghouls and the boys.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Better late than never. Welcome to the show.
It's a good rhyme. And her HOA, they've given her 30 days to take it down. She says that's enough time to keep it up for Halloween.
That's ridiculous.
That's so true.
Okay. But so maybe that's their way of saying we're honoring our protocol, but we're allowing you to keep it up. Lindsay, do you agree?
I mean, 30 days, we're basically in December. I don't get the point of that. That's kind of weird, but I definitely like the display. I also am on the panel with no kids, so I think that it would probably be obnoxious if I was walking around with a 2-year-old and they're seeing fake stripper bones, but you know, I think it's funny.
Hold up, and Lindsay, can I say this? Why are we assuming it's a strip club? There are a million pole dancing places
She called it.
that you go to work out.
She called it a candy stripper. She called it the candy strippers. So
that could be the name of the pole dancing place. I'm looking at it as like a.
There was even a bouncer there.
Element.
They had a bouncer.
Some people, they don't want people in the pole dancing place.
Your argument is invalid. Okay, next you might want to re-examine that Halloween decor in your own home. I know Lindsay is not going to like this at all. Police in Tennessee say a skull that was found sitting on a fireplace mantle wearing sunglasses is actually the remains of a missing man. DNA tests revealed the skull belonged to a 79-year-old who vanished in 2012. The police don't know how long it's been on the mantle, but they say he was possibly killed by a family member who has also passed away. Lindsay?
Fun stuff.
Come on, man. This just ruined that. The other story was good. This one just pretty much ruined my day.
I have a good story that's not a bummer. I was walking with my girl.
What is that? Why didn't we start on this one and end on a high note?
She makes it sad. I was walking with my girl like a week and a half ago, and she goes, I don't know if she's from Lakewood, Ohio, and she goes, my neighborhood is known for one thing. We take Halloween very seriously, yes. And so I was like, okay. I didn't think anything of it. And the next day, while I was on set, she forwarded me a picture. It was in Complex Magazine from this house in Lakewood, Ohio.
Ohio, okay.
I don't know if we have it. But it's a really cool layout.
Oh, there it is.
Yes. So you can see there's a gigantic skeleton throwing the coronavirus at people running away from it. And that's in their front yard. And if you look at the top, there's people panic buying up on the second floor.
Dude.
So when she said that they take it seriously, I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, you guys aren't playing.
No, that's a slow clap.
Because there's some neighborhoods that take Christmas seriously and like the whole block does it. So
when you can get a shopping cart on your second floor, like bravo to Lakewood, Ohio.
You guys know that I take Halloween really seriously. Unfortunately, I won't be in the office this year to be another Missy Elliott, which I'm sure I can show you guys later. But
that was my favorite moment of.
We'll flash back to it.
Yeah, we'll get to it. We'll hopefully get something in the credits for us to see. Coming up on DBL, Erica chats with the newest Real Housewife of New York.
Me?
No, you're not a woman or a housewife. Ebony K. Williams, how she's getting along with the rest of the cast. Take a look.
It's no secret that people are really anticipating, World War III with me and Ramona Singer.
Welcome back to DBL. Ebony K. Williams is shaking up the cast of The Real Housewives of New York. Now, that was my exercise for the day. As the show's first Black housewife. Earlier, she told Erica what we can expect from the upcoming season in today's Chatting with the Stars.
You are officially a member of the New York Housewives. You're also the first Black cast member, which is pretty incredible given the diversity of the city. Now, do you feel a pressure to hold yourself to a different standard than the other cast members, especially in wake of all the controversy that's happening right now with the Black cast of Real Housewives of Potomac?
I tried to vow, Erica, before I went into broadcast. You know, my background is as a trial attorney. I was a criminal defense attorney for many years. And when I decided to go into broadcasting, first in talk radio and then eventually into television, I just said that I always wanted to do my race proud. Does that mean I'm perfect and I'm constantly showing up as perfection? No. But my goal is to show up with Black excellence every day. And I attempt to do that with what's going on with Potomac. I'm a fan of the Potomac franchise. So it breaks my heart to see our sisters at odds. But I cannot and would never pass judgment on that because that's reality.
Now, as far as Real Housewives of New York, I am a Bravo-holic, okay? So I was there for every single shot, cocktail, even the rosé with the splash of Coke in it with Sonia. But a lot of people were very quick to criticize the amount of drinking that happened on the franchise. How do you feel about the way that they like to party, and how will you fit into that mix?
Well, listen, Erica, everybody last I checked was grown, okay? You'll see a lot of things play out on this upcoming season. As you know, we've already started taping. In terms of the women in this friend group having awareness and making choices as it relates to their alcohol consumption. And I think I'm gonna leave it right there.
No, honey, so vodka.
Despite the pandemic, you guys are together. Were there any one person on the cast that you were already friends with before taping?
Oh, before taping started, I started hanging out with Leah McSweeney off camera. And Leah and I are just a vibe. And Luann is somebody who I've just kind of seen in the city for several years now. We've been in fundraisers together, in social circles together.
Now, I also need to ask you, who did you not connect with and why did you choose Ramona? No, I'm just kidding.
Damn! It's no secret that people are really anticipating, World War III with me and Ramona Singer. But I actually think Ramona and I are gonna surprise some people.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out because depending on how it plays out with you, I may change my mind about Ramona, but only vicariously through you. So,
welcome to Holding Court.
Explain to our audience what Holding Court is and how they'll get to know you a little bit better through your podcast.
So Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams is an opportunity to take these legal headlines that we're talking about right now, whether it's George Floyd, the first episode of the podcast, Breonna Taylor, Make It Make Sense. Holding Court goes behind the legal curtain, behind the headline, and it makes people be able to understand it. It's one thing to know what's happening, Erica, and we all know what the headlines say. But Holding Court breaks it down to what I call the nitty-gritty.
Thank you so much for joining us on DBL today. And DBL Nation, check out Ebony K. Williams. You want to know her a little bit better, and she's going to break it down for you. So make sure that you check out Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Erica.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Days away from open enrollment starting, and we're chatting about this year's changes in this DBL Health Alert. First, the pandemic shouldn't have a huge impact on prices going up. Health plan prices are remaining pretty stable. Second, this year expect to have more insurers to choose from. Many have expanded into new counties and have new plans. So do your research before picking the right plan for you. To find the best and most cost-effective Medicare Advantage plan, call 1-800-800-9974. That's good to know.
It's a good idea. And like, if you don't understand anything, just type in whatever you don't understand, and somebody's asked that question before.
Totally.
So
and it's okay to not understand. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow. We're new every day.
Today on Daily Blast Live.
A wild brawl breaks out on a flight after a woman refuses to wear a mask. In today's True Crime Chronicles, the case of an Idaho serial killer who's been called the worst version of Ted Bundy.
He is literal monster.
Why Joseph Duncan is still fighting his 3 death sentences years later. Kim Kardashian West's extravagant birthday bash gets bashed on Twitter. Is she just completely tone deaf? And Ebony K. Williams talks about being the first Black Real Housewives of New York cast member.
I always wanted to do my race proud.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, October 28th.
You nailed it.
And then Tori in the background laughs the loudest.
We support our other hosts here.
We actually love when our fellow hosts fail and mess up. We're like the first ones to point and laugh. Okay, so I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home, also laughing because she understands.
No, I was just laughing that you're like, we love when our fellow hosts fail. We just point and laugh, and it seems so terrible, but it's true.
Yeah, and of course our DBL Nation will say, you guys are mean to one another. No, we are family. We're best friends, and that way, I feel
much a brother-sister relationship.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so I think we definitely have to start with this story. It is very serious. A lot of you have opinions, so we are switching gears here. You may have heard about the looting and demonstrations in Philadelphia. It's all over the police shooting of Walter Wallace Jr. For a second night now, Philadelphia has been torn apart with demonstrators confronting police and multiple stores being looted. Police said that the situation last night had rapidly gone downhill and that some areas were a total loss. 27-year-old Wallace Jr., there he is, was killed on Monday by 2 police officers. Wallace now suffered from mental health issues, and police had been called multiple times that day. He was shot 14 times by officers after he walked toward them with a knife. So video of the shooting did go viral. There's a lot of uproar, in my opinion, rightfully so. We're going to show this to you, but there is a warning to our viewers. This is graphic.
Yo, watch my wood. Yo, this is crazy out here. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Wow. Well, Wallace's family is speaking out against the looting and the violence. They're also questioning, though, the use of force by police, wondering why they didn't use a taser. Take a look.
Everybody having respect for my family and my son to stop this violence and chaos was going on in the city.
Yes, I was telling the police to stop. Don't shoot my son. Please don't shoot my son.
The man was suffering. He was on doctor's care. He was on a regimen of lithium. It's emotionally taxing to think about how you could call for assistance and wind up with the people who you called killing you. I can't even conceive the concept.
Wow. And, you know, Erica Al, we recently had Areva Martin on the show. You guys remember her. She's an incredible attorney, Harvard graduate, a mother, a black woman. And she confessed on our show that even though she has great relationships with police officers and she always empowers police departments, especially because she's a criminal defense attorney and a civil rights attorney, she says that her son, who is a special needs son, she purposely dresses younger because, God forbid, he's ever in a situation where police are there. She fears that his life will too be taken. So she purposely dresses her son to look very young, even though I believe he's 18 years old. Al, watching that, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I mean, as somebody that has a special needs son, when the Elijah McClain story, where the police held him down and shot him up with enough ketamine to kill a horse, happened, my ex-wife called me and was like, this is every parent that's got a special needs child worst fear. And this is because, and I actually, Sam, on this show interviewed a social worker who said that social workers need to go to de-escalate. They are trained for this. They are prepared for this. When you're sending people that are not trained, all they have is a sidearm, this is the result we're constantly going to have. And I'm worried, Erica, that we're going to have people that do have family members that do need care. I've had family members that had to have civil services called for them on their behalf because they had lost a thread and they were undergoing a mental health episode, and they handled it well. But I wonder how many people will hold back because they're worried that this is going to be the result.
You know, Al, I appreciate you bringing up the resources out there because that's exactly what I was thinking. That's where my frustration lies with the intent on misinformation about what defund the police really means. It's really about the reallocation of funds and resources. It's programs like you're talking about with the caseworker. It's domestic violence liaison officers, which are volunteer positions. Last month, my husband and I got sworn in by the judge to be court-appointed special advocates. And a part of that program for CASA, child welfare, and a part of that program required us to do several seminars with many professionals in law enforcement and child advocacy. And one of them was a domestic violence liaison officer. And it has been her life's work to understand what goes into these calls. And oftentimes, child welfare, dependency and neglect, domestic violence, mental illness all fall under the same realm. She was explaining how they get the information and come up with a plan before they ever even get to the location of where the call is coming from.
Wow.
When you have someone who really understands all of the backstory behind how to approach, how to engage, how to do things in a way that military force or police force, excessive force isn't needed or utilized. And those programs are only offered in certain cities and counties across this country. Defund the police is really about reallocating funds in all cities and counties across this country so that we have more resources and more people who are more equipped to handle these types of calls.
Erica, thank you so much for clarifying that, because as you were speaking, I was reading our comments, and JR on Facebook just wrote, you guys are so anti-police.
No one said anything about the police. I literally did not.
Right. Let's take the moment, though, to tackle that and have a conversation. Hopefully this viewer is still watching and you didn't switch the channel. No one here is anti-police. In fact, many of us have family members and friends that are in police departments. And we also think about those police officers because their lives are also put in danger when you have less reform, when you have less training, when you don't have adequate training, when you don't do the exact things that Erica just talked about, because then that creates a larger distrust between civilians and police officers. So not only do we want to advocate for the Elijah McClains and for the video that you just saw that absolutely is leaving my hands shaking right now. I mean, we're supposed to protect the most vulnerable, right? And we're not. And of course, all the unarmed black men. I mean, we covered George Floyd, we covered Ahmaud Arbery, and I know Ahmaud Arbery wasn't a police situation, but if you unpack it, you do learn that it did stem from some local retired police officers. So I just want you guys watching to know that we are not anti-police, that we just want reform and we want equality for all.
We are putting the police in the right place.
Yes.
If God forbid there was a zoo outbreak and there was a tiger on the streets, I don't want to send the police there. They're not trained to handle that. If a pipe explodes underground, I don't want to send the police there. They're not trained to handle that. They don't know what gases are coming out of it. When a building explodes, I don't want to send the police there. We send firemen because they're trained to handle that. When you're sending people that are not trained to handle these things, this is what's going to happen. This has nothing to do with the police at all.
And the police knew in this situation. There was so many phone calls given to the police officers that this person was mentally unstable. So in that moment, with proper training, with proper funding, reallocated funding to Erica's point, then you can set up those police officers to be an assistance with the right mental health professionals there with them. So I wanted to make sure that I addressed that to that particular viewer, and I hope that after this conversation that you will see from our perspective. We just want better. I think everybody can agree that this cannot happen. This is a really, really big transition.
Yes.
Really big transition. We do want to give a big DBL shout out to the LA Dodgers. After 32 years, the Dodgers are the World Series champs. Yep, beating out the Tampa Bay Rays in Game 6. So it is a huge win for the team and for all the Dodgers fans out there. And this is pretty crazy because third baseman Justin Turner got pulled from the game in the 7th inning after his coronavirus test came back positive. So he was back on the field after the big win for the team photograph. But check this out, you guys. He removed his mask for the photo. Yikes. Now, I heard a visible or an audible groan from you, Al. What are you thinking?
He's around a lot of people in that picture, Erica, and you know what? Those are young, healthy men, and they still get sick as well. But they always say a lot of times the people that get killed from your coronavirus are people that you don't know. You give it to somebody who's also a carrier that doesn't know it, and then they go to their grandparents' house. So that's what I'm scared about. It's just, he knew, Erica.
I mean, I think it just goes to show you how desensitized we've become about COVID because, you know, in the beginning, no one had any information and we were all like super scared. And now it just appears that people are like, well, if I get it, then I get it. And, you know, what else is there to say about it?
Yeah, it's disappointing to say the least, right? Well, Erica, do not go anywhere. Coming up on DBL, Kim Kardashian celebrates the big 4-0, but why are the haters coming after her birthday bash? Plus, people love getting creative with their Halloween decorations, but do these strippers skeletons? Yeah, I just said that. Do they cross the line? We'll be right back.
Along with the most honest and entertaining talk in daytime, DBL is telling stories that matter.
In a way, you're kind of admitting that you are not proud or happy with yourself.
From a woman who began bleaching her skin as a teenager to a model who made the choice to amputate both of her legs.
We are so proud of you.
Tiger King's Carol Baskin answers the questions everyone wants to know.
Oh my God. Well, you know, there was like a hitman that was hired to kill me.
And nothing's off limits with Nancy Grace.
Guess what, little girl? You're gonna be charged with murder too.
In DBL's True Crime Chronicles, the origin story of the Amber Alert. And in Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted, a woman spends 17 years in prison for killing her son, but she didn't do it.
You don't get to wake up from it and realize that it was just a dream.
Also, a world-renowned psychic gives us a reading you have to see to believe. And our favorite mentalist, Wayne Hoffman, absolutely blows our minds.
What is it? Okay, I'm gonna need some purity water over me.
With all of that, and the election, the pandemic,
That is insane to me.
we have a lot to talk about. So join our conversation every day this November on DBL.
Oh, it's going to be a good month. Make sure you do not miss one episode. Welcome back to DBL. A woman in Texas is going head-to-head with her homeowners association over her Risque Halloween display. So it's modeled after an adult nightclub with the skeletons posing as strippers. Her candy strippers at the candy shop display has been attracting a lot of attention from the ghouls and the boys in the yard.
There we go.
And her HOA. They've given her 30 days to take it down, but she says, that's okay. That's enough time to keep it up for Halloween. Yes. Okay. So, quick chat. What did you make of this, Al?
I thought it was fun. I'm all about body positivity. If you're a skeleton, you can be out there. You know, people use those pose exercise. I'm all for it, Erica.
Erica, what did you think real quick?
I thought that it seemed like someone in the HOA was super offended and everybody else in the HOA was like, okay, great, we'll give her 30 days, which basically appeases this Karen. And also lets her get away with this.
It's hilarious, in my opinion. Okay, so next, you might want to re-examine that Halloween decor in your home. So get this. Police in Tennessee say a skull, that looks real, that was found sitting on a fireplace mantle wearing sunglasses, well, is actually the remains of a missing man. So it is real. DNA tests revealed the skull belonged to a 79-year-old who vanished in 2012, but police don't know how long it's been on that mantle. But they say he was possibly killed by a family member who is also dead. I'm sorry,
yes.
What?
This is a huge bummer. And guys, I mean, yes, Erica, that face. I will just say this. Here's some good news. I was walking with my girl maybe like a week and a half ago. She's from Lakewood, Ohio. She goes, you know, my neighborhood takes Halloween very seriously. So I was like, I kind of blew it off like whatever. And then the next day she sent me an article from Complex. And I don't know if we have the pictures. This is from Lakewood, Ohio. This is if you look, that's a giant skeleton throwing a Corona at people running from it.
Oh.
And on the second floor, Sam, they're going to show people panic buying on the second floor of that house.
Brilliant.
And so that's in Lakewood, Ohio. So I was like, yes, when my girl says something, I listen, because that's taking it seriously.
That is a sign of the times. That's almost like an artistic representation.
Like, it really is. It's like an art
today.
installation almost.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Coming up on DBL, the leader of an infamous sex cult faces his fate, but has justice been served? And next, Erica chats with the newest Real Housewife of New York, my girl, Ebony K. Williams, how she's getting along with the rest of the cast. Can't wait to find out.
It's no secret that people are really anticipating, you know, World War III with me and Ramona Singer.
Welcome back to DBL. Ebony K. Williams is shaking things up on the cast of Real Housewives of New York as the first Black housewife. And she's also dropping hints about what we can expect from the upcoming season. Hashtag Team Ebony in today's Chatting with the Stars. You are officially a member of the New York Housewives. You're also the first Black cast member, which is pretty incredible given the diversity of the city. Now, do you feel a pressure to hold yourself to a different standard than the other cast members, especially in wake of all the controversy that's happening right now with the Black cast of Real Housewives of Potomac?
I took a vow, Erica, before I went into broadcast. You know, my background is as a trial attorney. I was a criminal defense attorney for many years. And when I decided to go into broadcasting, first in talk radio and then eventually into television, I just said that I always wanted to do my race proud. Does that mean I'm perfect and I'm constantly showing up as perfection? No. But my goal is to show up with Black excellence every day. And I attempt to do that with what's going on with Potomac. I'm a fan of the Potomac franchise. So it breaks my heart to see our sisters at odds. But I cannot and would never pass judgment on that because that's reality.
Now, as far as Real Housewives of New York, I am a Bravo-holic, okay? So I was there for every single shot, cocktail, even the rosé with the splash of Coke in it with Sonia. But a lot of people were very quick to criticize the amount of drinking that happened on the franchise. How do you feel about the way that they like to party, and how will you fit into that mix?
Well, listen, Erica, everybody last I checked was grown, okay? You'll see a lot of things play out on this upcoming season. As you know, we've already started taping. In terms of the women in this friend group having awareness and making choices as it relates to their alcohol consumption. And I think I'm gonna leave it right there.
No, honey, so vodka.
Despite the pandemic, you guys are together. Were there any one person on the cast that you were already friends with before taping?
Well, before taping started, I started hanging out with Leah McSweeney off camera. And Leah and I are just a vibe. And Luann is somebody who I've just kind of seen in the city for several years now. We've been in fundraisers together, in social circles together.
Now, I also need to ask you, who did you not connect with and why did you choose Ramona? No, I'm just kidding.
Damn. It's no secret that people are really anticipating, World War III with me and Ramona Singer. But I actually think Ramona and I are gonna surprise some people.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out because depending on how it plays out with you, I may change my mind about Ramona, but only vicariously through you. So,
welcome to Holding Court.
Explain to our audience what Holding Court is and how they'll get to know you a little bit better through your podcast.
So Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams is an opportunity to take these legal headlines that we're talking about right now, whether it's George Floyd, the first episode of the podcast, Breonna Taylor, Make It Make Sense. Holding Court goes behind the legal curtain, behind the headline, and it makes people be able to understand it. It's one thing to know what's happening, Erica, and we all know what the headlines say. But Holding Court breaks it down to what I call the nitty-gritty.
Thank you so much for joining us on DBL today. And DBL Nation, check out Ebony K. Williams. You want to know her a little bit better, and she's going to break it down for you. So make sure that you check out Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Erica.
Promotional consideration.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Now, we were getting a lot in regard to Walter Wallace Jr. We have Sean on Facebook saying, watching from Huntington Mills, Pennsylvania, this is insane with these cops. And then Mike on Facebook says, you just want the police to lay down and die? Absolutely not. We just want reform. If you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. In True Crime Chronicles, a convicted murderer described as being worse than Ted Bundy. And was Kim Kardashian's 40th birthday party totally tone deaf? DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2. Welcome to DBL. I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home. Let's get right to it because let me tell you, you, DBL Nation, have quite the opinion on Kim Kardashian's birthday bash. Yep, she's getting a ton of backlash after posting pics from her 40th birthday on social. She wrote that after multiple health screens and asking everyone to quarantine, she flew her friends and family to a private island where they could pretend things were normal for a brief moment in time. She posted another shot of her and her cake, writing, I realize that for most people, this is something that is so far out of reach. So in moments like these, I'm humbly reminded of how privileged my life is. Ooh, Erica. So are Kim's posts tone deaf, or can she spend her money any way she please? Come on, Erica. Tell us how you really feel.
I've always been like, on the Kardashian thing, but I just watched David Letterman's My Next Guest Needs No Introduction on Netflix, and she was on it, and I was like, gosh, I really have some respect for Kim Kardashian. Like, I like her.
She was great on David Letterman.
I think that at least she's being true to who she is. I think that it would be disingenuous. I remember a while back she posted some pictures, her and Kanye, and they were in a very, normal home in a normal kitchen, maybe even like under the poverty line, and made it look like it was, their normality. And they were visiting someone, and people gave her a lot of backlash for that. Like, stop pretending that, you're with the people or you're one of us. So I think she's pretty much damned if she does and damned if she doesn't.
That's her brand,
I can understand
Erica.
where the sensitivity lies, though.
Her brand's
being insensitive?
Her brand is taking public abuse. That's what it. Look, people log on. Can you imagine what people tweeted her on a minutely basis over the last 10, 15 years? Can you even process the language that is used towards her and her sisters and her mom? I can't imagine. So when she posts something, she's going to get half her fans saying, that's great, hope you guys had fun, and she's going to get the other half of people that follow her just to hate follow her. So this is part of her brand, unfortunately, and she's the lightning rod for a lot of public angst.
Listen, I definitely have empathy for I can't imagine what type of criticism she receives. And I did watch her, to Erica's point, on David Letterman. She was fantastic, and I have a lot of respect for her. She is a hustler, and she is so smart, and she's doing so much right now for prison reform that I only have the utmost respect for her. When I read this, I didn't care. However, when I read some of the tweets, and let me read some of the tweets, I understood why many people thought it was tone deaf. So here's one tweet. Kim, good for you. I lost 4 months of pay, still tied up with unemployment, and have seen a significant drop in future earnings. I'm helping my daughters with childcare and virtual school for my granddaughter. Still haven't gotten my 2019 tax return. Glad you had fun. And then I believe we have one more. Thanks for sharing, Kim. We're all still in hell. So, listen.
Couldn't you post that under anything, though? Couldn't you post that under if somebody's at a nice restaurant?
Times right now.
Yes, but I mean, that doesn't mean that other people can't. Look, Kim Kardashian is a woman of means. If I had those means, I haven't seen my mama in 2020. If I could get a private jet, I'd be in South Carolina before we went to commercial break.
And you want a gold jumbo jet.
Yes.
That's true, folks. That's true.
Happening. Even if it can't
fly. But would you be bragging about it?
No,
I don't
I would
think
not
you
post
would.
it.
That is the difference. Okay, so this next story. Wow, I have so many feelings about it. Chrissy Teigen is calling out people who criticized her for taking pictures during her devastating pregnancy loss. In an essay in Medium, Chrissy says she asked her husband, John Legend, and mother to take those photos, no matter how uncomfortable it was, because she said she needed them to remember the moment forever. She also took on the haters who questioned why she documented something so personal, writing, "These photos aren't for anyone but the people who have lived this or are curious enough to wonder what something like this is like. These photos are only for the people who need them. The thoughts of others do not matter to me." Erica, what did you make of all the criticism and then also Chrissy's response?
Well, Sam, you spoke so passionately about this the day after all of this went down and the photos were first publicized. So I want to know how you feel about it.
Listen, my heart just breaks for her. This is someone, and I know that she wrote that, those photos aren't for those that are hating on her, but it's got to affect her. She's human, and I know that she's a really sensitive person because she's discussed that prior in different interviews. So for me, I went and I looked at some of those comments just because my heart broke for her. I know that this must have been the most devastating moment of her life. And I know that she took those photos. In fact, a lot of hospitals will offer a photographer so you can remember the small amount of time that you are unfortunately allowed to spend with your child. And you want to hang on to that moment. And I understand why she would want to hang on to that moment. And I also understand, we all grieve differently, why she would want to share that moment with so many people that look up to her and need solace from her. And it may be cathartic for her. So I can't understand why so many people would be hateful. In fact, here's one comment that somebody wrote, because I do want to show that there are people, and there are many comments. This isn't just a few comments. I'm saying a lot of comments saying, why use this moment for a photo for your Instagram? You're a self-absorbed woman and should be ashamed of using this sad situation for an Instagram post. How about stay off Instagram and heal with your family? You know what I want to do? I don't even want to read any more negative comments. We have also positive comments. We're only going to focus on those positive comments. And I actually beg everybody right now, go to our Instagram, because we're going to end up clipping this, putting it up, and start messaging Chrissy Teigen your love and support, because this is somebody that needs it. So here's a few positive comments, and let's focus on this narrative because she's actually helping people. Can we get those comments up? Chrissy's transparency and sharing her perspective is so empowering. It is also a gentle reminder to myself and other health providers. We also was in the same situation in March. There you go. So I know what you are going through. And then finally, deepest condolences. I too have been there before. So, we're going to leave it on that note. Chrissy, we love you, and we love your transparency and your vulnerability, and you are helping so many people out there. Don't focus on the criticism and the haters, and I'm glad to hear that you're not. And just know that there are so many, I bet millions of people that have also gone through this and are reminded that they are not alone because of your strength and your vulnerability. Everybody go to our Instagram and let's flood Chrissy Teigen with positivity right now because she needs it. The founder of the Nexium cult, Keith Raniere, was finally sentenced yesterday to 120 years in prison, but it was his victims who had the last word in court. He was convicted last year on 7 charges, including conspiracy, racketeering, and sex trafficking. Keith forced women into sexual slavery and branded them with his initials. Dynasty star Catherine Oxenberg's daughter, India, and several other women gave victim impact statements in court. India reportedly called Keith a sexual predator who raped her and who got pleasure watching their skin burn. Keith has maintained his innocence and says he will appeal. I am sickened by this, as you all are. Al, this is somebody who also touted himself to be a philanthropist. How disgusting of a human being. What did you make when you heard these details, especially about the branding?
Well, I watched the documentary on HBO. I've listened to a couple hours of podcasts about this. This animal has been out there for decades doing this, manipulating people. And I've looked at, for the overall, like, what is a cult? Because somebody said something really poignant in the documentary. They say no one sets out to join a cult. And when you look at the people that made up this Nexium cult, these were not dumb people. This was the heiress to the Segrest, like as in Seagram Gin, like the heiress to that. These are super rich, wealthy, educated people, and they still fell for it. And a lot of times what I see is a lot of people trying to do better, trying to do positivity, and somebody takes that and harnesses it for their own evil doing. And we've seen it over and over again. We saw it with Manson. We've seen it with certain other things that I won't discuss, you know.
I hope he rots in hell.
Right, but yeah,
and
you
Erica,
should.
there was underage girls too, at least one that we know in particular.
Right. You know, here's the thing. People act like this happens somewhere in a different planet. This can happen to someone that you know and love. There is a time in your life where sometimes people fall into vulnerable states. Anytime there's one key word that anytime one of my friends is going through something, because I know where I was when I was in this place, and don't come at me for people who love this, but it's motorcycle. People who would never ride a motorcycle think about buying one. I did, and I knew that that was when I was so far disconnected from who I truly was. You know, those are places when something goes wrong that you're vulnerable, and anyone can be susceptible to vulnerability, and predators see and know that. So just understand that you need to keep an eye on the people that you know and love.
Wow.
There's a reason we keep seeing these cults over and over again.
I know. Erica, do not go away. Coming up on DBL, a sadistic murderer sentenced to die. And the sole survivor who escaped death at the hands of a monster. It is a bone-chilling edition of True Crime Chronicles. That is next.
Closed captioning.
Welcome back to DBL. An Idaho man's disturbing murders shocked the nation in 2005. Some call him worse than Ted Bundy. Today, Joseph Duncan is fighting his 3 death sentences. But first, here's a look back at where it all began on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
It was May 16th, 2005. The Groney family, a mother, boyfriend, 2 sons, and daughter, were sound asleep in their Lake Coeur d'Alene home when the unimaginable happened.
It was arguably one of the most shocking, horrific crimes the Northwest has ever seen.
An intruder and convicted sex offender, Joseph Duncan, broke into the family's home, brutally murdering the wife Brenda, her boyfriend, and one of her sons, Slade. When police arrived on scene, Brenda's 2 other children, 8-year-old Shasta and 9-year-old Dylan, were missing. Joseph had kidnapped them and was holding them hostage at a remote campsite in the Montana wilderness. For weeks, he sexually abused the 2 before he shot and killed Dylan right in front of his sister.
Ted Bundy had nothing on this Joseph Duncan character. I mean, he is literal monster.
Nearly 7 weeks after the abduction, Joseph took Shasta, the lone survivor, to town for dinner at Denny's. That's where a waitress recognized her from the billboards and called police. Duncan was arrested, and Shasta was finally free and reunited with her birth father.
He does not own her. He does not have any control.
Today, Shasta is 23 years old and a mother of 2. She is working with author Jamie Settelmeyer to write a book about her life.
She needs to acknowledge it and let the world understand this is what the world can be, but look, you can survive, you can make it through.
Joseph pled guilty to the murders. He is serving 3 death sentences. Last year, Joseph filed a civil petition challenging his sentences. A judge recently denied it.
And earlier, Tori and Jeff spoke with a photojournalist who was on the scene the moment the story broke. Take a look.
We are joined by photojournalist Brett Alberry from Creme in Spokane, Washington. Thank you so much for joining us. Brett, you've covered this case for years. You've shot tons of archive video from the scene. Tell us, what was it like personally covering this tragic case?
Yeah, it was pretty awful. There are a couple memories that stand out, a couple key moments. You know, the night it happened, they found 3 bodies in a house, and they think they have 2 missing kids, but they're not sure. It was pretty awful just for a week, not knowing what had happened to the kids. It kind of was just a week or 2 of them searching until ultimately, early part of July, Shasta Groney turned up at a Denny's in Coeur d'Alene, and those 2 memories in particular I have of that were pretty vivid, but yeah, overall just a pretty awful thing to have to cover.
I can't imagine.
Now, Brett, this is crazy, but people have described Joseph as Ted Bundy, but only worse. What was his story before the 2005 killings, and was he ever on police radar?
Yeah, well, you know, locally, with regards to like early on in this case, no, he wasn't on the radar at all, but did he have a criminal history that then you look back later and go, oh, it makes sense? Yes, he was actually born in Tacoma, so he's a state of Washington guy. But he started committing some pretty horrible crimes, sexual-related crimes, sexual assaults and rapes. When he was about 15, he got convicted. In Tacoma, he spent some time at a boys' ranch, a boys' home, admitted to a therapist, he admitted that he had done a whole bunch of others that nobody even knew about. And what led him to the area where he committed this horrible crime, he had gotten accused of a child molestation at a park. He jumped bail from another case, ended up over here, and then a lot of horrible things happened after that.
Wow. Shasta, I want to talk about her. She's the lone survivor in this case. She was just 9 when she was kidnapped. What is life like for her today?
I can say that in the months after she reappeared and Joseph Duncan was arrested, things seemed to be going okay for her. But we did have a very brief interview with her where she seemed very positive and upbeat. It was somewhere in the months afterwards where they had released some balloons and did kind of a remembrance, some type of ceremony for the victims. In the years after that, thankfully, she really wasn't in the public eye much. And I say thankfully because she never had to testify in court. And she was actually going to write a book.
Well, if you guys want to know more about this, for the latest on the case, to learn more, go to krem.com. You can also listen to a new podcast episode about this case. Just go ahead and search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Brett, thanks again for keeping us in the public's eye. We'll be right back.
If you have
DBL is exactly
what we say it is. We are honest.
We'll always tell you what we really think.
What we really think.
This is absolutely laughable.
Are you serious?
We're not just reading the stories. We're sharing our opinions
And having real conversations.
Because that is insane to me.
People are going to be upset. I can completely understand that.
Tell us your DBL take.
We want to know what you think.
You may agree with us, you may not, but that's the point.
It's a takeover. I mean, run this city.
I love that line. We run this city. Yes. Okay, so welcome back to DBL. We are just days away from open enrollment starting. So we are chatting about it, or this year's changes rather, in this DBL Health Alert sponsored by Health Market. So first and foremost, the pandemic shouldn't have a huge impact on prices going up, thank goodness. In fact, experts predict health plan prices are remaining pretty stable or only going up a small amount. And second, this year they expect to have more insurers to choose from. Many have expanded into new counties and are offering new plans, so do your research before picking the right plan for you. When it comes to your health, to find the best and most cost-effective Medicare Advantage plan, call 1-800-800-9974. Again, that number is 1-800-800-9974. Very important to enroll early. You have until December 15th.
Yes, and do your research. If you don't know what an acronym is, look it up. Take your time. When I first went on looking for health plans, I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look. That way you kind of have you remove the like, oh, I have to make a decision tonight. Take a second, talk to somebody that knows more than you, and then make your decision.
I'm glad that you said take a second, because I'm one to always rush, and this is something that you can't rush.
You can't.
Really have to carve out a space in your day and make sure that you're actually digesting what you're reading.
And don't be scared to ask questions, you know? That's what you're really good at saying.
Oh, thank you.
You are.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
tomorrow on DBL. Tiger King star Carole Baskin. From her sex life to rumors she killed her husband, she's holding nothing back.
Oh my gosh, nothing could have prepared me for what that freak show turned out to be.
And gender reveal parties are all the rage, but when do they go too far? We'll hear from the mom who started it all.
What's not really on the table as a talking point is actually the social harm that these parties cause.
That's tomorrow on DBL.
Hey, welcome back to DBL. Oh, we're getting a ton of comments. Okay, so Kim K writes, Oliver, or in regard to Kim K, we wish Kim K
she
wrote
wrote us?
in. Whoa!
Not that we're not excited to hear from Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver writes in, isn't a big part of Kim's brand an escape from the mundane? Maybe she was just trying to give fans a glimpse into a fun escape for the family. And Derek wrote, don't knock the rich for being rich and enjoying their luxuries. Just kidding, this was totally tone deaf. Sorry, Kim. And then on Chrissy Teigen, Terry on Facebook wrote, I lost a granddaughter like this 14 years ago. I'm so sorry to hear that, Terry. My heart broke for her and my daughter. And then Eileen on Facebook wrote, did you just bash people for bashing people? I guess that's a direct comment to me. I don't recall ever bashing people. I just wanted to focus on the positive comments for Chrissy because this is a person who is going through probably the most traumatic experience of their life. So that's
and you hit it
my
on the
goal.
head, Sam, when you said it's a person. It's a young woman. It's been through the worst pain imaginable. So, Erica, do you want to take us out with any thoughts?
Well, I feel like if you're going to be the basher, then you can be the bashee.
Yeah.
That is such an accurate thought.
You can say... Like, I don't understand. Like, are you getting mad at me because I was an ass? Yes. Yes, we are.
Erica,
that's coming from me, not from Sam.
Thank you for not mincing words, Erica. I appreciate you. And listen, we appreciate all your comments. We thank you, DBL Nation. We are new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Thanks, Erica. Thanks, Al. Bye, guys.
Love you.
Talking about today on Daily Blast Live.
A wild brawl breaks out on a flight after a woman refuses to wear a mask. In today's True Crime Chronicles, the case of an Idaho serial killer who's been called the worst version of Ted Bundy.
He is a literal monster.
Why Joseph Duncan is still fighting his 3 death sentences years later. Kim Kardashian West's extravagant birthday bash gets bashed on Twitter. Is she just completely tone deaf? And tonight, Ebony K. Williams talks about being the first Black Real Housewives of New York cast member.
I always wanted to do my race proud.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, October 28th.
You nailed it.
And then Tori in the background laughs the loudest.
We support our other hosts here.
We actually love when our fellow hosts fail and mess up. We're like the first ones to point and laugh. Okay, so I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home, also laughing because she understands.
No, I was just laughing that you're like, we love when our fellow hosts fail. We just point and laugh, and it seems so terrible, but it's true.
Yeah, and of course our DBL Nation will say, you guys are mean to one another. No, we are family. We're best friends, and that way.
Very much a brother-sister relationship. Yes,
exactly. Okay, so I think we definitely have to start with this story. It is very serious. A lot of you have opinions, so we are switching gears here. You may have heard about the looting and demonstrations in Philadelphia. It's all over the police shooting of Walter Wallace Jr. For a second night now, Philadelphia has been torn apart with demonstrators confronting police and multiple stores being looted. Police said that the situation last night had rapidly gone downhill and that some areas were a total loss. 27-year-old Wallace Jr., there he is, was killed on Monday by 2 police officers. Wallace now suffered from mental health issues, and police had been called multiple times that day. He was shot 14 times by officers after he walked toward them with a knife. So video of the shooting did go viral. There was a lot of uproar, in my opinion, rightfully so. We're going to show this to you, but there is a warning to our viewers. This is graphic.
Yo, watch my wood. Yo, this crazy on me.
Wow. Well, Wallace's family is speaking out against the looting and the violence. They're also questioning, though, the use of force by police, wondering why they didn't use a taser. Take a look.
Everybody having respect for my family and my son to stop this violence and chaos was going on in the city.
Yes, I was telling the police to stop. Don't shoot my son. Please don't shoot my son.
The man was suffering. He was on doctor's care. He was on a regimen of lithium. It's emotionally taxing to think about how you could call for assistance and wind up with the people who you called killing you. I can't even conceive the concept.
Wow. And, you know, Erica, Al, we recently had Areva Martin on the show. You guys remember her. She's an incredible attorney, Harvard graduate, a mother, a Black woman, and she confessed on our show that even though she has great relationships with police officers and she always empowers police departments, especially because she's a criminal defense attorney and a civil rights attorney, she says that her son, who is a special needs son, she purposely dresses younger because, God forbid, he's ever in a situation where police are there. She fears that his life will too be taken. So she purposely dresses her son to look very young, even though I believe he's 18 years old. Al, watching that, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I mean, as somebody that has a special needs son, when the Elijah McClain story, where the police held him down and shot him up with enough ketamine to kill a horse, happened, my ex-wife called me and was like, this is every parent that's got a special needs child worst fear. And this is because, and I actually, Sam, on this show interviewed a social worker who said that social workers need to go to de-escalate. They are trained for this. They are prepared for this. When you're sending people that are not trained, all they have is a sidearm, this is the result we're constantly going to have. And I'm worried, Erica, that we're going to have people that do have family members that do need care. I've had family members that had to have civil services called for them on their behalf because they had lost a thread and they were undergoing a mental health episode, and they handled it well. But I wonder how many people will hold back because they're worried that this is going to be the result.
You know, Al, I appreciate you bringing up the resources out there, because that's exactly what I was thinking. That's where my frustration lies with the intent on misinformation about what defund the police really means. It's really about the reallocation of funds and resources. It's programs like you're talking about with the caseworker. It's domestic violence liaison officers, which are volunteer positions. Last month, my husband and I got sworn in by the judge to be court-appointed special advocates. And a part of that program for CASA, child welfare, and a part of that program required us to do several seminars with many professionals in law enforcement and child advocacy. And one of them was a domestic violence liaison officer. And it has been her life's work to understand what goes into these calls. And oftentimes, child welfare, dependency and neglect, domestic violence, mental illness all fall under the same realm. She was explaining how they get the information and come up with a plan before they ever even get to the location of where the call is coming from.
Wow.
When you have someone who really understands all of the backstory behind how to approach, how to engage, how to do things in a way that military force or police force, excessive force isn't needed or utilized. And those programs are only offered in certain cities and counties across this country. Defund the police is really about reallocating funds in all cities and counties across this country so that we have more resources and more people who are more equipped to handle these types of calls.
Erica, thank you so much for clarifying that, because as you were speaking, I was reading our comments, and JR on Facebook just wrote, "You guys are so anti-police."
No one said anything about the police. I literally did not.
Right. Let's take the moment, though, to tackle that and have a conversation. Hopefully this viewer is still watching and you didn't switch the channel. No one here is anti-police. In fact, many of us have family members and friends that are in police departments. And we also think about those police officers because their lives are also put in danger when you have less reform, when you have less training, when you don't have adequate training, when you don't do the exact things that Erica just talked about, because then that creates a larger distrust between civilians and police officers. So not only do we want to advocate for the Elijah McClains and for the video that you just saw that absolutely is leaving my hands shaking right now. I mean, we're supposed to protect the most vulnerable, right? And we're not. And of course, all the unarmed black men. I mean, we covered George Floyd. We covered Ahmaud Arbery. And I know Ahmaud Arbery wasn't a police situation, but if you unpack it, you do learn that it did stem from some local retired police officers. So I just want you guys watching to know that we are not anti-police, that we just want reform and we want equality for all.
We are putting the police in the right place.
Yes.
If God forbid there was a zoo outbreak and there was a tiger on the streets, I don't want to send the police there. They're not trained to handle that. If a pipe explodes underground, I don't want to send the police there. They're not trained to handle that. They don't know what gases are coming out of it. When a building explodes, I don't want to send the police there. We send firemen because they're trained to handle that. When you're sending people that are not trained to handle these things, this is what's going to happen. This has nothing to do with the police at all.
And the police knew in this situation. There was so many phone calls given to the police officers that this person was mentally unstable. So in that moment, with proper training, with proper funding, reallocated funding to Erica's point, then you can set up those police officers to be an assistance with the right mental health professionals there with them. So I wanted to make sure that I addressed that to that particular viewer, and I hope that after this conversation that you will see from our perspective. We just want better. I think everybody can agree that this cannot happen. This is a really, really big transition.
Yes.
Really big transition. We do want to give a big DBL shout out to the LA Dodgers. After 32 years, the Dodgers are the World Series champs. Yep, beating out the Tampa Bay Rays in Game 6. So it is a huge win for the team and for all the Dodgers fans out there. And this is pretty crazy because third baseman Justin Turner got pulled from the game in the 7th inning after his coronavirus test came back positive. So he was back on the field after the big win for the team photograph. But check this out, you guys. He removed his mask for the photo. Yikes. Now, I heard a visible or an audible groan from you, Al. What are you thinking?
He's around a lot of people in that picture, Erica, and you know what? Those are young, healthy men, and they still get sick as well. But they always say a lot of times the people that get killed from your coronavirus are people that you don't know. You give it to somebody who's also a carrier that doesn't know it, and then they go to their grandparents' house. So that's what I'm scared about. It's just, he knew, Erica.
I mean, I think it just goes to show you how desensitized we've become about COVID because, you know, in the beginning, no one had any information and we were all like super scared. And now it just appears that people are like, well, if I get it, then I get it. And, you know, what else is there to say about it?
Yeah, it's disappointing to say the least, right? Well, Erica, do not go anywhere. Coming up on DBL, Kim Kardashian celebrates the big 4-0, but why are the haters coming after her birthday bash? Plus, people love getting creative with their Halloween decorations, but do these stripper skeletons? Yeah, I just said that. Do they cross the line? We'll be right back.
See.
Along with the most honest and entertaining talk in daytime, DBL is telling stories that matter.
In a way, you're kind of admitting that you are not proud or happy with yourself.
From a woman who began bleaching her skin as a teenager to a model who made the choice to amputate both of her legs.
We are so proud of you.
Tiger King's Carol Baskin answers the questions everyone wants to know.
Oh my God. Well, you know, there was like a hitman that was hired to kill me.
And nothing's off limits with Nancy Grace.
Guess what, little girl? You're going to be charged with murder, too.
In DBL's True Crime Chronicles, the origin story of the Amber Alert. And in Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted, a woman spends 17 years in prison for killing her son, but she didn't do it.
You don't get to wake up from it and realize that it was just a dream.
Also, a world-renowned psychic gives us a reading you have to see to believe. And our favorite mentalist, Wayne Hoffman, absolutely blows our minds.
What is it?
Okay,
I'm gonna need some purity water over me.
With all of that, and the election, the pandemic.
That is insane to me.
We have a lot to talk about. So join our conversation every day this November on DBL.
Oh, it's going to be a good month. Make sure you do not miss one episode. Welcome back to DBL. A woman in Texas is going head-to-head with her homeowners association over her Risque Halloween display. So it's modeled after an adult nightclub with the skeletons posing as strippers. Her candy strippers at the candy shop display has been attracting a lot of attention from the ghouls and the boys in the yard.
There we go.
And her HOA. They've given her 30 days to take it down, but she says, that's okay. That's enough time to keep it up for Halloween. Yes. Okay. So, quick chat. What did you make of this, Al?
I thought it was fun. I'm all about body positivity. If you're a skeleton, you can be out there. You know, people use those pose exercise. I'm all for it, Erica.
Erica, what did you think real quick?
I thought that it seemed like someone in the HOA was super offended and everybody else in the HOA was like, okay, great, we'll give her 30 days, which basically appeases this Karen and also lets her get away with this.
It's hilarious, in my opinion. Okay, so next, you might want to re-examine that Halloween decor in your home. So get this. Police in Tennessee say a skull, that looks real, that was found sitting on a fireplace mantle wearing sunglasses, well, is actually the remains of a missing man. So it is real. DNA tests revealed the skull belonged to a 79-year-old who vanished in 2012, but police don't know how long it's been on that mantle. But they say he was possibly killed by a family member who is also dead. I'm sorry,
yes.
What?
This is a huge bummer. And guys, I mean, yes, Erica, that face. I would just say this. Here's some good news. I was walking with my girl maybe like a week and a half ago. She's from Lakewood, Ohio. She goes, you know, my neighborhood takes Halloween very seriously. So I was like, I kind of blew it off like whatever. And then the next day she sent me an article from Complex. And I don't know if we have the pictures. This is from Lakewood, Ohio. This is, if you look, that's a giant skeleton throwing a Corona at people running from it.
Oh.
And on the second floor, Sam, they're going to show people panic buying on the second floor of that house.
Oh, brilliant.
And so that's in Lakewood, Ohio. So I was like, yes, when my girl says something, I listen, because that's taking it serious.
That is a sign of the times. That's almost like an artistic representation.
Like, it really is. It's like an art
today.
installation almost.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Coming up on DBL, the leader of an infamous sex cult faces his fate, but has justice been served? And next, Erica chats with the newest Real Housewife of New York, my girl, Ebony K. Williams, how she's getting along with the rest of the cast. Can't wait to find out.
It's no secret that people are really anticipating, you know, World War III with me and Ramona Singer.
Welcome back to DBL. Ebony K. Williams is shaking things up on the cast of Real Housewives of New York as the first Black housewife. And she's also dropping hints about what we can expect from the upcoming season. Hashtag Team Ebony in today's Chatting with the Stars. You are officially a member of the New York Housewives. You're also the first Black cast member, which is pretty incredible given the diversity of the city. Now, do you feel a pressure to hold yourself to a different standard than the other cast members, especially in wake of all the controversy that's happening right now with the Black cast of Real Housewives of Potomac?
I took a vow, Erica, before I went into broadcast. You know, my background is as a trial attorney. I was a criminal defense attorney for many years. And when I decided to go into broadcasting, first in talk radio and then eventually into television, I just said that I always wanted to do my race proud. Does that mean I'm perfect and I'm constantly showing up as perfection? No. But my goal is to show up with Black excellence every day. And I attempt to do that with what's going on with Potomac. I'm a fan of the Potomac franchise. So it breaks my heart to see our sisters at odds. But I cannot and would never pass judgment on that because that's reality.
Now, as far as Real Housewives of New York, I am a Bravo-holic, okay? So I was there for every single shot, cocktail, even the rosé with the splash of Coke in it with Sonia. But a lot of people were very quick to criticize the amount of drinking that happened on the franchise. How do you feel about the way that they like to party, and how will you fit into that mix?
Well, listen, Erica, everybody last I checked was grown, okay? You'll see a lot of things play out on this upcoming season. As you know, we've already started taping. In terms of the women in this friend group having awareness and making choices as it relates to their alcohol consumption. And I think I'm gonna leave it right there.
No, honey, so vodka.
Despite the pandemic, you guys are together. Were there any one person on the cast that you were already friends with before taping?
Well, before taping started, I started hanging out with Leah McSweeney off camera. And Leah and I are just a vibe. And Luann is somebody who I've just kind of seen in the city for several years now. We've been in fundraisers together, in social circles together.
Now, I also need to ask you, who did you not connect with and why did you choose Ramona? No, I'm just kidding.
Damn. It's no secret that people are really anticipating, World War III with me and Ramona Singer. But I actually think Ramona and I are gonna surprise some people.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out because depending on how it plays out with you, I may change my mind about Ramona, but only vicariously through you. So,
welcome to Holding Court.
Explain to our audience what Holding Court is and how they'll get to know you a little bit better through your podcast.
So Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams is an opportunity to take these legal headlines that we're talking about right now, whether it's George Floyd, the first episode of the podcast, Breonna Taylor, Make It Make Sense. Holding Court goes behind the legal curtain, behind the headline, and it makes people be able to understand it. It's one thing to know what's happening, Erica, and we all know what the headlines say. But Holding Court breaks it down to what I call the nitty-gritty.
Thank you so much for joining us on DBL today. And DBL Nation, check out Ebony K. Williams. You want to know her a little bit better, and she's going to break it down for you. So make sure that you check out Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Erica.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Now, we were getting a lot in regard to Walter Wallace Jr. We have Sean on Facebook saying, watching from Huntington Mills, Pennsylvania, this is insane with these cops. And then Mike on Facebook says, you just want the police to lay down and die? Absolutely not. We just want reform. If you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. In True Crime Chronicles, a convicted murderer described as being worse than Ted Bundy. And was Kim Kardashian's 40th birthday party totally tone deaf? DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home. Let's get right to it because let me tell you, you, DBL Nation, have quite the opinion on Kim Kardashian's birthday bash. Yep, she's getting a ton of backlash after posting pics from her 40th birthday on social. She wrote that after multiple health screens and asking everyone to quarantine, she flew her friends and family to a private island where they could pretend things were normal for a brief moment in time. She posted another shot of her and her cake, writing, I realize that for most people, this is something that is so far out of reach. So in moments like these, I'm humbly reminded of how privileged my life is. Ooh, Erica. So are Kim's posts tone deaf, or can she spend her money any way she please? Come on, Erica. Tell us how you really feel.
I've always been like, on the Kardashian thing, but I just watched David Letterman's My Next Guest Needs No Introduction on Netflix, and she was on it, and I was like, gosh, I really have some respect for Kim Kardashian. Like, I like her.
She was great on David Letterman.
I think that at least she's being true to who she is. I think that it would be disingenuous. I remember a while back she posted some pictures, her and Kanye, and they were in a very, normal home in a normal kitchen, maybe even like under the poverty line, and made it look like it was, their normality. And they were visiting someone, and people gave her a lot of backlash for that. Like, stop pretending that, you're with the people or you're one of us. So I think she's pretty much damned if she does and damned if she doesn't.
That's her brand,
I can understand
Erica.
where the sensitivity lies, though.
Her brand's
being insensitive?
Her brand is taking public abuse. That's what it. Look, people log on. Can you imagine what people tweeted her on a minutely basis over the last 10, 15 years? Can you even process the language that is used towards her and her sisters and her mom? I can't imagine. So when she posts something, she's going to get half her fans saying, that's great, hope you guys had fun, and she's going to get the other half of people that follow her just to hate follow her. So this is part of her brand, unfortunately, and she's the lightning rod for a lot of public angst.
Listen, I definitely have empathy for I can't imagine what type of criticism she receives. And I did watch her, to Erica's point, on David Letterman. She was fantastic, and I have a lot of respect for her. She is a hustler, and she is so smart, and she's doing so much right now for prison reform that I only have the utmost respect for her. When I read this, I didn't care. However, when I read some of the tweets, and let me read some of the tweets, I understood why many people thought it was tone deaf. So here's one tweet. Kim, good for you. I lost 4 months of pay, still tied up with unemployment, and have seen a significant drop in future earnings. I'm helping my daughters with childcare and virtual school for my granddaughter. Still haven't gotten my 2019 tax return. Glad you had fun. And then I believe we have one more. Thanks for sharing, Kim. We're all still in hell. So, listen.
Couldn't you post that under anything, though? Couldn't you post that under if somebody's at a nice restaurant
times right now?
Yes, but I mean that doesn't mean that other people can't. Look, Kim Kardashian is a woman of means. If I had those means, I haven't seen my mama in 2020. If I could get a private jet, I'd be in South Carolina before we went to commercial break.
And you want a gold jumbo jet?
Yes,
that's true, folks. That's true.
Happening. Even if it can't fly.
But would you be bragging about it?
No,
I don't
would
think
not
you
post
would.
it.
That is the difference. Okay, so this next story. Wow, I have so many feelings about it. Chrissy Teigen is calling out people who criticized her for taking pictures during her devastating pregnancy loss. In an essay in Medium, Chrissy says she asked her husband, John Legend, and mother to take those photos, no matter how uncomfortable it was, because she said she needed them to remember the moment forever. She also took on the haters who questioned why she documented something so personal, writing, "These photos aren't for anyone but the people who have lived this or are curious enough to wonder what something like this is like. These photos are only for the people who need them. The thoughts of others do not matter to me." Erica, what did you make of all the criticism and then also Chrissy's response?
Well, Sam, you spoke so passionately about this the day after all of this went down and the photos were first publicized. So I want to know how you feel about it.
Listen, my heart just breaks for her. This is someone, and I know that she wrote that, you know, those photos aren't for those that are hating on her, but it's got to affect her. She's human, and I know that she's a really sensitive person because she's discussed that prior in different interviews. So for me, I went and I looked at some of those comments just because my heart broke for her. I know that this must have been the most devastating moment of her life. And I know that she took those photos. In fact, a lot of hospitals will offer a photographer so you can remember the small amount of time that you are unfortunately allowed to spend with your child. And you want to hang on to that moment. And I understand why she would want to hang on to that moment. And I also understand, I mean, we all grieve differently, why she would want to share that moment with so many people that look up to her and need solace from her. And it may be cathartic for her. So I can't understand why so many people would be hateful. In fact, here's one comment that somebody wrote, because I do want to show that there are people, and there are many comments. This isn't just a few comments. I'm saying a lot of comments saying, why use this moment for a photo for your Instagram? You're a self-absorbed woman and should be ashamed of using this sad situation for an Instagram post. How about stay off Instagram and heal with your family? You know what I want to do? I don't even want to read any more negative comments. We have also positive comments. We're only going to focus on those positive comments. And I actually beg everybody right now, go to our Instagram, because we're going to end up clipping this, putting it up, and start messaging Chrissy Teigen your love and support, because this is somebody that needs it. So here's a few positive comments, and let's focus on this narrative because she's actually helping people. Can we get those comments up? Chrissy's transparency and sharing her perspective is so empowering. It is also a gentle reminder to myself and other health providers. We also was in the same situation in March. There you go. So I know what you are going through. And then finally, deepest condolences. I too have been there before. So, you know, we're going to leave it on that note. Chrissy, we love you, and we love your transparency and your vulnerability, and you are helping so many people out there. Don't focus on the criticism and the haters, and I'm glad to hear that you're not. And just know that there are so many, I bet millions of people that have also gone through this and are reminded that they are not alone because of your strength and your vulnerability. Everybody go to our Instagram and let's flood Chrissy Teigen with positivity right now because she needs it. The founder of the Nexium cult, Keith Raniere, was finally sentenced yesterday to 120 years in prison, but it was his victims who had the last word in court. He was convicted last year on 7 charges, including conspiracy, racketeering, and sex trafficking. Keith forced women into sexual slavery and branded them with his initials. Dynasty star Catherine Oxenberg's daughter, India, and several other women gave victim impact statements in court. India reportedly called Keith a sexual predator who raped her and who got pleasure watching their skin burn. Keith has maintained his innocence and says he will appeal. I am sickened by this, as you all are. Al, this is somebody who also touted himself to be a philanthropist. How disgusting of a human being. What did you make when you heard these details, especially about the branding?
Well, I watched the documentary on HBO. I've listened to a couple hours of podcasts about this. This animal has been out there for decades doing this, manipulating people. And I've looked at, for the overall, like, what is a cult? Because somebody said something really poignant in the documentary. They say no one sets out to join a cult. And when you look at the people that made up this Nexium cult, these were not dumb people. This was the heiress to the Segrest, like as in Seagram Gin, like the heiress to that. These are super rich, wealthy, educated people, and they still fell for it. And a lot of times what I see is a lot of people trying to do better, trying to do positivity, and somebody takes that and harnesses it for their own evil doing. And we've seen it over and over again. We saw it with Manson. We've seen it with certain other things I won't discuss, you know.
I hope he rots in hell.
Right, but yeah,
and
you
Erica,
should.
there was underage girls too, at least one that we know in particular.
Right. You know, here's the thing. People act like this happens somewhere in a different planet. This can happen to someone that you know and love. There is a time in your life where sometimes people fall into vulnerable states. Anytime there's one key word that anytime one of my friends is going through something, because I know where I was when I was in this place, and don't come at me for people who love this, but it's motorcycle. People who would never ride a motorcycle think about buying one. I did. And I knew that that was when I was so far disconnected from who I truly was. You know, those are places when something goes wrong that you're vulnerable, and anyone can be susceptible to vulnerability, and predators see and know that. So just understand that you need to keep an eye on the people that you know and love.
Wow.
There's a reason we keep seeing these cults over and over again.
I know. Erica, do not go away. Coming up on DBL, a sadistic murderer sentenced to die. And the sole survivor who escaped death at the hands of a monster. It is a bone-chilling edition of True Crime Chronicles. That is next. Welcome back to DBL. An Idaho man's disturbing murders shocked the nation in 2005. Some call him worse than Ted Bundy. Today, Joseph Duncan is fighting his 3 death sentences. But first, here's a look back at where it all began on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
It was May 16th, 2005. The Groney family, a mother, boyfriend, 2 sons, and daughter, were sound asleep in their Lake Coeur d'Alene home when the unimaginable happened.
It was arguably one of the most shocking, horrific crimes the Northwest has ever seen.
An intruder and convicted sex offender, Joseph Duncan, broke into the family's home, brutally murdering the wife Brenda, her boyfriend, and one of her sons, Slade. When police arrived on scene, Brenda's 2 other children, 8-year-old Shasta and 9-year-old Dylan, were missing. Joseph had kidnapped them and was holding them hostage at a remote campsite in the Montana wilderness. For weeks, he sexually abused the 2 before he shot and killed Dylan right in front of his sister.
Ted Bundy had nothing on this Joseph Duncan character. I mean, he is literal monster.
Nearly 7 weeks after the abduction, Joseph took Shasta, the lone survivor, to town for dinner at Denny's. That's where a waitress recognized her from the billboards and called police. Duncan was arrested, and Shasta was finally free and reunited with her birth father.
He does not own her. He does not have any control.
Today, Shasta is 23 years old and a mother of 2. She is working with author Jamie Settelmeyer to write a book about her life.
She needs to acknowledge it and let the world understand this is what the world can be, but look, you can survive, you can make it through.
Joseph pled guilty to the murders. He is serving 3 death sentences. Last year, Joseph filed a civil petition challenging his sentences. A judge recently denied it.
And earlier, Tori and Jeff spoke with a photojournalist who was on the scene the moment the story broke. Take a look.
We are joined by photojournalist Brett Alberry from Creme in Spokane, Washington. Thank you so much for joining us. Brett, you've covered this case for years. You've shot tons of archive video from the scene. Tell us, what was it like personally covering this tragic case?
Yeah, it was pretty awful. There are a couple memories that stand out, a couple key moments. You know, the night it happened, they found 3 bodies in a house, and they think they have 2 missing kids, but they're not sure. It was pretty awful just for a week, not knowing what had happened to the kids. It kind of was just a week or 2 of them searching until ultimately, early part of July, Shasta Groney turned up at a Denny's in Coeur d'Alene, and those 2 memories in particular I have of that were pretty vivid. But yeah, overall, just a pretty awful thing to have to cover.
I can't imagine.
Now, Brett, this is crazy, but people have described Joseph as Ted Bundy, but only worse. What was his story before the 2005 killings, and was he ever on police radar?
Yeah, well, you know, locally, with regards to like early on in this case, no, he wasn't on the radar at all. But did he have a criminal history that then you look back later and go, oh, it makes sense? Yes, he was actually born in Tacoma, so he's a state of Washington guy. But he started committing some pretty horrible crimes, sexual-related crimes, sexual assaults and rapes. When he was about 15, he got convicted. In Tacoma, he spent some time at a boys' ranch, a boys' home, admitted to a therapist, he admitted that he had done a whole bunch of others that nobody even knew about. And what led him to the area where he committed this horrible crime, he had gotten accused of a child molestation at a park. He jumped bail from another case, ended up over here, and then a lot of horrible things happened after that.
Wow. Shasta, I want to talk about her. She's the lone survivor in this case. She was just 9 when she was kidnapped. What is life like for her today?
I can say that in the months after she reappeared and Joseph Duncan was arrested, things seemed to be going okay for her. But we did have a very brief interview with her where she seemed very positive and upbeat. It was somewhere in the months afterwards where they had released some balloons and did kind of a remembrance, some type of ceremony for the victims. In the years after that, thankfully, she really wasn't in the public eye much. And I say thankfully because she never had to testify in court. And she was actually going to write a book.
Well, if you guys want to know more about this, for the latest on the case, to learn more, go to krem.com. You can also listen to a new podcast episode about this case. Just go ahead and search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Brett, thanks again for keeping us in the public's eye. We'll be right back.
DBL is exactly
what we say it is. We are honest.
We'll always tell you what we really think.
What we really think.
This is absolutely laughable.
Are you serious?
We're not just reading the stories.
We're sharing our opinions
and having real conversations.
Because that is insane to me.
People are going to be upset. I can completely understand that.
Tell us your DBL take.
We want to know what you think.
You may agree with us, you may not, but that's the point.
It's a takeover. I mean, run this city.
I love that line. We run this city. Yes. Okay, so welcome back to DBL. We are just days away from open enrollment starting. So we are chatting about it, or this year's changes rather, in this DBL Health Alert sponsored by Health Market. So first and foremost, the pandemic shouldn't have a huge impact on prices going up, thank goodness. In fact, experts predict health plan prices are remaining pretty stable or only going up a small amount. And second, this year, they expect to have more insurers to choose from. Many have expanded into new counties and are offering new plans, so do your research before picking the right plan for you. When it comes to your health, to find the best and most cost-effective Medicare Advantage plan, call 1-800-800-9974. Again, that number is 1-800-800-9974. Very important to enroll early. You have until December 15th.
Yes, and do your research. If you don't know what an acronym is, look it up. Take your time. When I first went on looking for health plans, I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look. That way, you kind of have you remove the like, oh, I have to make a decision tonight. Take a second, talk to somebody that knows more than you, and then make your decision.
I'm glad that you said take a second, because I'm one to always rush, and this is something that you can't rush.
You can't.
Really have to carve out a space in your day and make sure that you're actually digesting what you're reading.
And don't be scared to ask questions, you know? That's what you're really good at saying.
Oh, thank you.
You are.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
tomorrow on DBL. Tiger King star Carole Baskin. From her sex life to rumors she killed her husband, she's holding nothing back.
Oh my gosh, nothing could have prepared me for what that freak show turned out to be.
And gender reveal parties are all the rage, but when do they go too far? We'll hear from the mom who started it all.
What's not really on the table as a talking point is actually the social harm that these parties cause.
That's tomorrow on DBL.
Hey, welcome back to DBL. Oh, we're getting a ton of comments. Okay, so Kim K writes, Oliver, or in regard to Kim K, we wish Kim K
she
wrote
wrote us?
in. Whoa!
Not that we're not excited to hear from Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver writes in, isn't a big part of Kim's brand an escape from the mundane? Maybe she was just trying to give fans a glimpse into a fun escape for the family. And Derek wrote, don't knock the rich for being rich and enjoying their luxuries. Just kidding, this was totally tone deaf. Sorry, Kim. And then on Chrissy Teigen, Terry on Facebook wrote, I lost a granddaughter like this 14 years ago. I'm so sorry to hear that, Terry. My heart broke for her and my daughter. And then Eileen on Facebook wrote, did you just bash people for bashing people? I guess that's a direct comment to me. I don't recall ever bashing people. I just wanted to focus on the positive comments for Chrissy because this is a person who is going through probably the most traumatic experience of their life. So that's
and you hit it
my
on the
goal.
head, Sam, when you said it's a person. It's a young woman. It's been through the worst pain imaginable. So, Erica, do you want to take us out with any thoughts?
Well, I feel like if you're going to be the basher, then you can be the bashee.
Yeah.
That is such an accurate thought.
You can say... Like, I don't understand. Like, are you getting mad at me because I was an ass? Yes. Yes, we are.
Erica,
that's coming from me, not from Sam.
Thank you for not mincing words, Erica. I appreciate you. And listen, we appreciate all your comments. We thank you, DBL Nation. We are new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Thanks, Erica. Thanks, Al. Bye, guys.
Love you.
Blast Live.
A wild brawl breaks out on a flight after a woman refuses to wear a mask. In today's True Crime Chronicles, the case of an Idaho serial killer who's been called the worst version of Ted Bundy.
He is literal monster.
Why Joseph Duncan is still fighting his 3 death sentences years later. Kim Kardashian West's extravagant birthday bash gets bashed on Twitter. Is she just completely tone deaf? And tonight, Ebony K. Williams talks about being the first Black Real Housewives of New York cast member.
I always wanted to do my race proud.
Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. It is Wednesday, October 28th.
You nailed it.
And then Tori in the background laughs the loudest.
We support our other hosts here.
We actually love when our fellow hosts fail and mess up. We're like the first ones to point and laugh. Okay, so I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home, also laughing because she understands.
No, I was just laughing that you're like, we love when our fellow hosts fail. We just point and laugh, and it seems so terrible, but it's true.
Yeah, and of course our DBL Nation will say, you guys are mean to one another. No, we are family. We're best friends, and that way, I feel
much a brother-sister relationship.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so I think we definitely have to start with this story. It is very serious. A lot of you have opinions, so we are switching gears here. You may have heard about the looting and demonstrations in Philadelphia. It's all over the police shooting of Walter Wallace Jr. For a second night now, Philadelphia has been torn apart with demonstrators confronting police and multiple stores being looted. Police said that the situation last night had rapidly gone downhill and that some areas were a total loss. 27-year-old Wallace Jr., there he is, was killed on Monday by 2 police officers. Wallace now suffered from mental health issues, and police had been called multiple times that day. He was shot 14 times by officers after he walked toward them with a knife. So video of the shooting did go viral. There was a lot of uproar, in my opinion, rightfully so. We're going to show this to you, but there is a warning to our viewers. This is graphic.
Yo, watch my wood. Yo, this is crazy over here. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Wow. Well, Wallace's family is speaking out against the looting and the violence. They're also questioning, though, the use of force by police, wondering why they didn't use a taser. Take a look.
Everybody having respect for my family and my son to stop this violence and chaos was going on in the city.
Yes, I was telling the police to stop. Don't shoot my son. Please don't shoot my son.
The man was suffering. He was on doctor's care. He was on a regimen of lithium. It's emotionally taxing to think about how you could call for assistance and wind up with the people who you called killing you. I can't even conceive the concept.
Wow. And, you know, Erica, Al, we recently had Areva Martin on the show. You guys remember her. She's an incredible attorney, Harvard graduate, a mother, a Black woman. And she confessed on our show that even though she has great relationships with police officers and she always empowers police departments, especially because she's a criminal defense attorney and a civil rights attorney, she says that her son, who is a special needs son, she purposely dresses younger because, God forbid, he's ever in a situation where police are there. She fears that his life will too be taken. So she purposely dresses her son to look very young, even though I believe he's 18 years old. Al, watching that, what are you thinking right now?
Well, I mean, as somebody that has a special needs son, when the Elijah McClain story, where the police held him down and shot him up with enough ketamine to kill a horse, happened, my ex-wife called me and was like, this is every parent that's got a special needs child worst fear. And this is because, and I actually, Sam, on this show interviewed a social worker who said that social workers need to go to de-escalate. They are trained for this. They are prepared for this. When you're sending people that are not trained, all they have is a sidearm, this is the result we're constantly going to have. And I'm worried, Erica, that we're going to have people that do have family members that do need care. I've had family members that had to have civil services called for them on their behalf because they had lost a thread and they were undergoing a mental health episode, and they handled it well. But I wonder how many people will hold back because they're worried that this is going to be the result.
You know, Al, I appreciate you bringing up the resources out there, because that's exactly what I was thinking. That's where my frustration lies with the intent on misinformation about what defund the police really means. It's really about the reallocation of funds and resources. It's programs like you're talking about with the caseworker. It's domestic violence liaison officers, which are volunteer positions. Last month, my husband and I got sworn in by the judge to be court-appointed special advocates. And a part of that program for CASA, child welfare, and a part of that program required us to do several seminars with many professionals in law enforcement and child advocacy. And one of them was a domestic violence liaison officer. And it has been her life's work to understand what goes into these calls. And oftentimes, child welfare, dependency and neglect, domestic violence, mental illness all fall under the same realm. She was explaining how they get the information and come up with a plan before they ever even get to the location of where the call is coming from.
Wow.
When you have someone who really understands all of the backstory behind how to approach, how to engage, how to do things in a way that military force or police force, excessive force isn't needed or utilized. And those programs are only offered in certain cities and counties across this country. Defund the police is really about reallocating funds in all cities and counties across this country so that we have more resources and more people who are more equipped to handle these types of calls.
Erica, thank you so much for clarifying that, because as you were speaking, I was reading our comments, and JR on Facebook just wrote, "You guys are so anti-police."
No one said anything about the police. I literally did not.
Right. Let's take the moment, though, to tackle that and have a conversation. Hopefully this viewer is still watching and you didn't switch the channel. No one here is anti-police. In fact, many of us have family members and friends that are in police departments. And we also think about those police officers because their lives are also put in danger when you have less reform, when you have less training, when you don't have adequate training, when you don't do the exact things that Erica just talked about, because then that creates a larger distrust between civilians and police officers. So not only do we want to advocate for the Elijah McClains and for the video that you just saw that absolutely is leaving my hands shaking right now. I mean, we're supposed to protect the most vulnerable, right? And we're not. And of course, all the unarmed black men. I mean, we covered George Floyd, we covered Ahmaud Arbery, and I know Ahmaud Arbery wasn't a police situation, but if you unpack it, you do learn that it did stem from some local retired police officers. So I just want you guys watching to know that we are not anti-police, that we just want reform and we want equality for all.
We are putting the police in the right place.
Yes.
If God forbid there was a zoo outbreak and there was a tiger on the streets, I don't want to send the police there. They're not trained to handle that. If a pipe explodes underground, I don't want to send the police there. They're not trained to handle that. They don't know what gases are coming out of it. When a building explodes, I don't want to send the police there. We send firemen because they're trained to handle that. When you're sending people that are not trained to handle these things, this is what's going to happen. This has nothing to do with the police at all.
And the police knew in this situation. There was so many phone calls given to the police officers that this person was mentally unstable. So in that moment, with proper training, with proper funding, reallocated funding to Erica's point, then you can set up those police officers to be an assistance with the right mental health professionals there with them. So I wanted to make sure that I addressed that to that particular viewer, and I hope that after this conversation that you will see from our perspective. We just want better. I think everybody can agree that this cannot happen. This is a really, really big transition.
Yes.
Really big transition. We do want to give a big DBL shout out to the LA Dodgers. After 32 years, the Dodgers are the World Series champs. Yep, beating out the Tampa Bay Rays in Game 6. So it is a huge win for the team and for all the Dodgers fans out there. And this is pretty crazy because third baseman Justin Turner got pulled from the game in the 7th inning after his coronavirus test came back positive. So he was back on the field after the big win for the team photograph. But check this out, you guys. He removed his mask for the photo. Yikes. Now, I heard a visible or an audible groan from you, Al. What are you thinking?
He's around a lot of people in that picture, Erica, and you know what? Those are young, healthy men, and they still get sick as well. But they always say a lot of times the people that get killed from your coronavirus are people that you don't know. You give it to somebody who's also a carrier that doesn't know it, and then they go to their grandparents' house. So that's what I'm scared about. It's just, he knew, Erica.
I mean, I think it just goes to show you how desensitized we've become about COVID because, you know, in the beginning, no one had any information and we were all like super scared. And now it just appears that people are like, well, if I get it, then I get it. And, you know, what else is there to say about it?
Yeah, it's disappointing to say the least, right? Well, Erica, do not go anywhere. Coming up on DBL, Kim Kardashian celebrates the big 4-0, but why are the haters coming after her birthday bash? Plus, people love getting creative with their Halloween decorations, but do these stripper skeletons? Yeah, I just said that. Do they cross the line? We'll be right back. With the most honest and entertaining talk in daytime, DBL is telling stories that matter.
In a way, you're kind of admitting that you are not proud or happy with yourself.
From a woman who began bleaching her skin as a teenager to a model who made the choice to amputate both of her legs.
We are so proud of you.
Tiger King's Carol Baskin answers the questions everyone wants to know.
Oh my God. Well, you know, there was like a hitman that was hired to kill me.
And nothing's off limits with Nancy Grace.
Guess what, little girl? You're gonna be charged with murder too.
In DBL's True Crime Chronicles, the origin story of the Amber Alert. And in Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted, a woman spends 17 years in prison for killing her son, but she didn't do it.
You don't get to wake up from it and realize that it was just a dream.
Also, a world-renowned psychic gives us a reading you have to see to believe. And our favorite mentalist, Wayne Hoffman, absolutely blows our minds.
What is it? Okay, I'm gonna need some purity water over me.
With all of that, and the election, the pandemic.
That is insane to me.
We have a lot to talk about. So join our conversation every day this November on DBL.
Oh, it's going to be a good month. Make sure you do not miss one episode. Welcome back to DBL. A woman in Texas is going head-to-head with her homeowners association over her Risque Halloween display. So it's modeled after an adult nightclub with the skeletons posing as strippers. Her candy strippers at the candy shop display has been attracting a lot of attention from the ghouls and the boys in the yard.
There we go.
And her HOA. They've given her 30 days to take it down, but she says, that's okay. That's enough time to keep it up for Halloween. Yes. Okay. So, quick chat. What did you make of this, Al?
I thought it was fun. I'm all about body positivity. If you're a skeleton, you can be out there. You know, people use those pose exercise. I'm all for it, Erica.
Erica, what did you think real quick?
I thought that it seemed like someone in the HOA was super offended and everybody else in the HOA was like, okay, great, we'll give her 30 days, which basically appeases this Karen and also lets her get away with this.
It's hilarious, in my opinion. Okay, so next, you might want to re-examine that Halloween decor in your home. So get this. Police in Tennessee say a skull, that looks real, that was found sitting on a fireplace mantle wearing sunglasses, well, is actually the remains of a missing man. So it is real. DNA tests revealed the skull belonged to a 79-year-old who vanished in 2012, but police don't know how long it's been on that mantle. But they say he was possibly killed by a family member who is also dead. I'm sorry,
yes.
What?
This is a huge bummer. And guys, I mean, yes, Erica, that face. I would just say this. Here's some good news. I was walking with my girl maybe like a week and a half ago. She's from Lakewood, Ohio. She goes, you know, my neighborhood takes Halloween very seriously. So I was like, I kind of blew it off like whatever. And then the next day she sent me an article from Complex. And I don't know if we have the pictures. This is from Lakewood, Ohio. This is if you look, that's a giant skeleton throwing a Corona at people running from it.
Oh.
And on the second floor, Sam, they're going to show people panic buying on the second floor of that house.
Brilliant.
And that's in Lakewood, Ohio. So I was like, yes, when my girl says something, I listen, because that's taking it serious.
That is a sign of the times. That's almost like an artistic representation.
Like, it really is. It's like an art installation almost.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Coming up on DBL, the leader of an infamous sex cult faces his fate, but has justice been served? And next, Erica chats with the newest Real Housewife of New York, my girl, Ebony K. Williams, how she's getting along with the rest of the cast. Can't wait to find out.
It's no secret that people are really anticipating, you know, World War III with me and Ramona Singer. Welcome back to DBL. Ebony K. Williams is shaking things up on the cast of Real Housewives of New York as the first Black housewife. And she's also dropping hints about what we can expect from the upcoming season. Hashtag Team Ebony in today's Chatting with the Stars. You
are officially a member of the New York Housewives. You're also the first Black cast member, which is pretty incredible given the diversity of the city. Now, do you feel a pressure to hold yourself to a different standard than the other cast members, especially in wake of all the controversy that's happening right now with the Black cast of Real Housewives of Potomac?
I took a vow, Erica, before I went into broadcast. You know, my background is as a trial attorney. I was a criminal defense attorney for many years. And when I decided to go into broadcasting, first in talk radio and then eventually into television, I just said that I always wanted to do my race proud. Does that mean I'm perfect and I'm constantly showing up as perfection? No. But my goal is to show up with Black excellence every day. And I attempt to do that with what's going on with Potomac. I'm a fan of the Potomac franchise. It breaks my heart to see our sisters at odds. But I cannot and would never pass judgment on that because that's reality.
Now, as far as Real Housewives of New York, I am a Bravo-holic, okay? So I was there for every single shot, cocktail, even the rosé with the splash of Coke in it with Sonia. But a lot of people were very quick to criticize the amount of drinking that happened on the franchise. How do you feel about the way that they like to party, and how will you fit into that mix?
Well, listen, Erica, everybody last I checked was grown, okay? You'll see a lot of things play out on this upcoming season. As you know, we've already started taping. In terms of the women in this friend group having awareness and making choices as it relates to their alcohol consumption. And I think I'm gonna leave it right there.
No, honey, so vodka.
Despite the pandemic, you guys are together. Were there any one person on the cast that you were already friends with before taping?
Well, before taping started, I started hanging out with Leah McSweeney off camera. And Leah and I are just a vibe. And Luann is somebody who I've just kind of seen in the city for several years now. We've been in fundraisers together, in social circles together.
Now, I also need to ask you, who did you not connect with and why did you choose Ramona? No, I'm just kidding.
Damn! It's no secret that people are really anticipating, World War III with me and Ramona Singer. But I actually think Ramona and I are gonna surprise some people.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out because depending on how it plays out with you, I may change my mind about Ramona, but only vicariously through you. So,
welcome to Holding Court.
Explain to our audience what Holding Court is and how they'll get to know you a little bit better through your podcast.
So Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams is an opportunity to take these legal headlines that we're talking about right now, whether it's George Floyd, the first episode of the podcast, Breonna Taylor, Make It Make Sense. Holding Court goes behind the legal curtain, behind the headline, and it makes people be able to understand it. It's one thing to know what's happening, Erica, and we all know what the headlines say. But Holding Court breaks it down to what I call the nitty-gritty.
Thank you so much for joining us on DBL today. And DBL Nation, check out Ebony K. Williams. You want to know her a little bit better, and she's going to break it down for you. So make sure that you check out Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Erica.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments. Now, we were getting a lot in regard to Walter Wallace Jr. We have Sean on Facebook saying, watching from Huntington Mills, Pennsylvania, this is insane with these cops. And then Mike on Facebook says, you just want the police to lay down and die? Absolutely not. We just want reform. If you're sticking around, here's what's coming up on DBL. In True Crime Chronicles, a convicted murderer described as being worse than Ted Bundy. And was Kim Kardashian's 40th birthday party totally tone deaf? DBL's new every day. We'll be right back.
Is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to DBL. I am Sam here with Al. Erica joining us from home. Let's get right to it because let me tell you, you, DBL Nation, have quite the opinion on Kim Kardashian's birthday bash. Yep, she's getting a ton of backlash after posting pics from her 40th birthday on social. She wrote that after multiple health screens and asking everyone to quarantine, she flew her friends and family to a private island where they could pretend things were normal for a brief moment in time. She posted another shot of her and her cake, writing, I realize that for most people, this is something that is so far out of reach. So in moments like these, I'm humbly reminded of how privileged my life is. Ooh, Erica. So are Kim's posts tone deaf, or can she spend her money any way she please? Come on, Erica. Tell us how you really feel.
I've always been like, on the Kardashian thing, but I just watched David Letterman's My Next Guest Needs No Introduction on Netflix, and she was on it, and I was like, gosh, I really have some respect for Kim Kardashian. Like, I like her.
She was great on David Letterman.
I think that at least she's being true to who she is. I think that it would be disingenuous. I remember a while back she posted some pictures, her and Kanye, and they were in a very, normal home, in a normal kitchen, maybe even like under the poverty line, and made it look like it was, their normality. And they were visiting someone, and people gave her a lot of backlash for that. Like, stop pretending that, you're with the people or you're one of us. So I think she's pretty much damned if she does and damned if she doesn't.
That's her brand,
I can understand
Erica.
where the sensitivity lies, though.
Her brand's
being insensitive?
Her brand is taking public abuse. That's what it. Look, people log on. Can you imagine what people tweeted her on a minutely basis over the last 10, 15 years. Can you even process the language that is used towards her and her sisters and her mom? I can't imagine. So when she posts something, she's going to get half her fans saying, that's great, hope you guys had fun, and she's going to get the other half of people that follow her just to hate follow her. So this is part of her brand, unfortunately, and she's the lightning rod for a lot of public angst.
Listen, I definitely have empathy for I can't imagine what type of criticism she receives. And I did watch her, to Erica's point on David Letterman. She was fantastic, and I have a lot of respect for her. She is a hustler, and she is so smart, and she's doing so much right now for prison reform that I only have the utmost respect for her. When I read this, I didn't care. However, when I read some of the tweets, and let me read some of the tweets, I understood why many people thought it was tone deaf. So here's one tweet. Kim, good for you. I lost 4 months of pay, still tied up with unemployment, and have seen a significant drop in future earnings. I'm helping my daughters with childcare and virtual school for my granddaughter. Still haven't gotten my 2019 tax return. Glad you had fun. And then I believe we have one more. Thanks for sharing, Kim. We're all still in hell. So listen.
Couldn't you post that under anything, though? Couldn't you post that under if somebody's at a nice restaurant?
Times right now.
Yes, but I mean, that doesn't mean that other people can't. Look, Kim Kardashian is a woman of means. If I had those means, I haven't seen my mama in 2020. If I could get a private jet, I'd be in South Carolina before we went to commercial break.
And you want a gold jumbo jet.
Yes.
That's true, folks. That's true.
Happening. Even if it can't
fly. But would you be bragging about it?
No,
I don't
I would
think
not
you
post
would.
it.
That is the difference. Okay, so this next story. Wow, I have so many feelings about it. Chrissy Teigen is calling out people who criticized her for taking pictures during her devastating pregnancy loss. In an essay in Medium, Chrissy says she asked her husband, John Legend, and mother to take those photos, no matter how uncomfortable it was, because she said she needed them to remember the moment forever. She also took on the haters who questioned why she documented something so personal, writing, "These photos aren't for anyone but the people who have lived this or are curious enough to wonder what something like this is like. These photos are only for the people who need them. The thoughts of others do not matter to me." Erica, what did you make of all the criticism and then also Chrissy's response?
Well, Sam, you spoke so passionately about this the day after all of this went down and the photos were first publicized. So I want to know how you feel about it.
Listen, my heart just breaks for her. This is someone, and I know that she wrote that, those photos aren't for those that are hating on her, but it's got to affect her. She's human, and I know that she's a really sensitive person because she's discussed that prior in different interviews. So for me, I went and I looked at some of those comments just because my heart broke for her. I know that this must have been the most devastating moment of her life. And I know that she took those photos. In fact, a lot of hospitals will offer a photographer so you can remember the small amount of time that you are unfortunately allowed to spend with your child. And you want to hang on to that moment. And I understand why she would want to hang on to that moment. And I also understand, we all grieve differently, why she would want to share that moment with so many people that look up to her and need solace from her. And it may be cathartic for her. So I can't understand why so many people would be hateful. In fact, here's one comment that somebody wrote, because I do want to show that there are people, and there are many comments. This isn't just a few comments. I'm saying a lot of comments saying, why use this moment for a photo for your Instagram? You're a self-absorbed woman and should be ashamed of using this sad situation for an Instagram post. How about stay off Instagram and heal with your family? You know what I want to do? I don't even want to read any more negative comments. We have also positive comments. We're only going to focus on those positive comments. And I actually beg everybody right now, go to our Instagram, because we're going to end up clipping this, putting it up, and start messaging Chrissy Teigen your love and support, because this is somebody that needs it. So here's a few positive comments, and let's focus on this narrative because she's actually helping people. Can we get those comments up? Chrissy's transparency in sharing her perspective is so empowering. It is also a gentle reminder to myself and other health providers. We also was in the same situation in March. There you go. So I know what you are going through. And then finally, deepest condolences. I too have been there before. So, we're going to leave it on that note. Chrissy, we love you, and we love your transparency and your vulnerability, and you are helping so many people out there. Don't focus on the criticism and the haters, and I'm glad to hear that you're not. And just know that there are so many, I bet millions of people that have also gone through this and are reminded that they are not alone because of your strength and your vulnerability. Everybody go to our Instagram and let's flood Chrissy Teigen with positivity right now because she needs it. The founder of the Nexium cult, Keith Raniere, was finally sentenced yesterday to 120 years in prison, but it was his victims who had the last word in court. He was convicted last year on 7 charges, including conspiracy, racketeering, and sex trafficking. Keith forced women into sexual slavery and branded them with his initials. Dynasty star Catherine Oxenberg's daughter, India, and several other women gave victim impact statements in court. India reportedly called Keith a sexual predator who raped her and who got pleasure watching their skin burn. Keith has maintained his innocence and says he will appeal. I am sickened by this, as you all are. Al, this is somebody who also touted himself to be a philanthropist. How disgusting of a human being. What did you make when you heard these details, especially about the branding?
Well, I watched the documentary on HBO. I've listened to a couple hours of podcasts about this. This animal has been out there for decades doing this, manipulating people. And I've looked at, for the overall, like, what is a cult? Because somebody said something really poignant in the documentary. They say no one sets out to join a cult. And when you look at the people that made up this Nexium cult, these were not dumb people. This was the heiress to the Secrets, like as in Seagram Gin, like the heiress to that. These are super rich, wealthy, educated people, and they still fell for it. And a lot of times what I see is a lot of people trying to do better, trying to do positivity, and somebody takes that and harnesses it for their own evil doing. And we've seen it over and over again. We saw it with Manson. We've seen it with certain other things I won't discuss, you know.
I hope he rots in hell.
Right, but yeah,
and
you
Erica,
should.
there was underage girls too, at least one that we know in particular.
Right. You know, here's the thing. People act like this happens somewhere in a different planet. This can happen to someone that you know and love. There is a time in your life where sometimes people fall into vulnerable states. Anytime there's one key word that anytime one of my friends is going through something, because I know where I was when I was in this place, and don't come at me for people who love this, but it's motorcycle. People who would never ride a motorcycle think about buying one. I did. And I knew that that was when I was so far disconnected from who I truly was. You know, those are places when something goes wrong that you're vulnerable, and anyone can be susceptible to vulnerability, and predators see and know that. So just understand that you need to keep an eye on the people that you know and love.
Wow.
There's a reason we keep seeing these cults over and over again.
I know. Erica, do not go away. Coming up on DBL, a sadistic murderer sentenced to die. And the sole survivor who escaped death at the hands of a monster. It is a bone-chilling edition of True Crime Chronicles. That is next. Welcome back to DBL. An Idaho man's disturbing murders shocked the nation in 2005. Some call him worse than Ted Bundy. Today, Joseph Duncan is fighting his 3 death sentences. But first, here's a look back at where it all began on DBL's True Crime Chronicles.
It was May 16th, 2005. The Groney family, a mother, boyfriend, 2 sons, and daughter, were sound asleep in their Lake Coeur d'Alene home when the unimaginable happened.
It was arguably one of the most shocking, horrific crimes the Northwest has ever seen.
An intruder and convicted sex offender, Joseph Duncan, broke into the family's home, brutally murdering the wife Brenda, her boyfriend, and one of her sons, Slade. When police arrived on scene, Brenda's 2 other children, 8-year-old Shasta and 9-year-old Dylan, were missing. Joseph had kidnapped them and was holding them hostage at a remote campsite in the Montana wilderness. For weeks, he sexually abused the 2 before he shot and killed Dylan right in front of his sister.
Ted Bundy had nothing on this Joseph Duncan character. I mean, he is literal monster.
Nearly 7 weeks after the abduction, Joseph took Shasta, the lone survivor, to town for dinner at Denny's. That's where a waitress recognized her from the billboards and called police. Duncan was arrested, and Shasta was finally free and reunited with her birth father.
He does not own her. He does not have any control.
Today, Shasta is 23 years old and a mother of 2. She is working with author Jamie Settelmeyer to write a book about her life.
She needs to acknowledge it and let the world understand this is what the world can be, but look, you can survive, you can make it through.
Joseph pled guilty to the murders. He is serving 3 death sentences. Last year, Joseph filed a civil petition challenging his sentences. A judge recently denied it.
And earlier, Tori and Jeff spoke with a photojournalist who was on the scene the moment the story broke. Take a look.
We are joined by photojournalist Brett Alberry from Creme in Spokane, Washington. Thank you so much for joining us. Brett, you've covered this case for years. You've shot tons of archive video from the scene. Tell us, what was it like personally covering this tragic case?
Yeah, it was pretty awful. There are a couple memories that stand out, a couple key moments. You know, the night it happened, they found 3 bodies in a house, and they think they have 2 missing kids, but they're not sure. It was pretty awful just for a week, not knowing what had happened to the kids. It kind of was just a week or 2 of them searching until ultimately, early part of July, Shasta Groney turned up at a Denny's in Coeur d'Alene, and those 2 memories in particular I have of that were pretty vivid. But yeah, overall, just a pretty awful thing to have to cover.
I can't imagine.
Now, Brett, this is crazy, but people have described Joseph as Ted Bundy, but only worse. What was his story before the 2005 killings, and was he ever on police radar?
Yeah, well, you know, locally, with regards to like early on in this case, no, he wasn't on the radar at all. But did he have a criminal history that then you look back later and go, oh, it makes sense? Yes, he was actually born in Tacoma, so he's a state of Washington guy. But he started committing some pretty horrible crimes, sexual-related crimes, sexual assaults and rapes. When he was about 15, he got convicted. In Tacoma, he spent some time at a boys' ranch, a boys' home, admitted to a therapist, he admitted that he had done a whole bunch of others that nobody even knew about. And what led him to the area where he committed this horrible crime, he had gotten accused of a child molestation at a park. He jumped bail from another case, ended up over here, and then a lot of horrible things happened after that.
Wow. Shasta, I want to talk about her. She's the lone survivor in this case. She was just 9 when she was kidnapped. What is life like for her today?
I can say that in the months after she reappeared and Joseph Duncan was arrested, things seemed to be going okay for her. But we did have a very brief interview with her where she seemed very positive and upbeat. It was somewhere in the months afterwards where they had released some balloons and did kind of a remembrance, some type of ceremony for the victims. In the years after that, thankfully, she really wasn't in the public eye much. And I say thankfully because she never had to testify in court. And she was actually going to write a book.
Well, if you guys want to know more about this for the latest on the case, to learn more, go to krem.com. You can also listen to a new podcast episode about this case. Just go ahead and search True Crime Chronicles on your favorite podcast player. Brett, thanks again for keeping us in the public's eye. We'll be right back.
If you have
DBL is exactly
what we say it is. We are honest.
We'll always tell you what we really think.
What we really think.
This is absolutely laughable.
Are you serious?
We're not just reading the stories.
We're sharing our opinions
and having real conversations.
Because that is insane to me.
People are going to be upset. I can completely understand that.
Tell us your DBL take.
We want to know what you think.
You may agree with us, you may not, but that's the point.
It's a takeover. I mean, run this city.
I love that line. We run this city. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so welcome back to DBL. We are just days away from open enrollment starting. So we are chatting about it, or this year's changes rather, in this DBL Health Alert sponsored by Health Market. So first and foremost, the pandemic shouldn't have a huge impact on prices going up, thank goodness. In fact, experts predict health plan prices are remaining pretty stable or only going up a small amount. And second, this year, they expect to have more insurers to choose from. Many have expanded into new counties and are offering new plans, so do your research before picking the right plan for you. When it comes to your health, to find the best and most cost-effective Medicare Advantage plan, call 1-800-800-9974. Again, that number is 1-800-800-9974. Very important to enroll early. You have until December 15th.
Yes, and do your research. If you don't know what an acronym is, look it up. Take your time. When I first went on looking for health plans, I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. I'm just going to look. That way, you kind of have you remove the like, oh, I have to make a decision tonight. Take a second, talk to somebody that knows more than you, and then make your decision.
I'm glad that you said take a second, because I'm one to always rush, and this is something that you can't rush.
You can't.
Really have to carve out a space in your day and make sure that you're actually digesting what you're reading.
And don't be scared to ask questions, you know? That's what you're really good at, Sam.
Oh, thank you.
You are.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Promotional consideration.
Tiger King star Carol Baskin. From her sex life to rumors she killed her husband, she's holding nothing back.
Oh my gosh, nothing could have prepared me for what that freak show turned out to be.
And gender reveal parties are all the rage, but when do they go too far? We'll hear from the mom who started it all.
What's not really on the table as a talking point is actually the social harm that these parties cause.
That's tomorrow on DBL.
Hey, welcome back to DBL. Oh, we're getting a ton of comments. Okay, so Kim K writes, Oliver, or in regard to Kim K, we wish Kim K wrote in. Whoa!
Not that we're not excited to hear from Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver writes in, isn't a big part of Kim's brand an escape from the mundane? Maybe she was just trying to give fans a glimpse into a fun escape for the family. And Derek wrote, don't knock the rich for being rich and enjoying their luxuries. Just kidding, this was totally tone deaf. Sorry, Kim. And then on Chrissy Teigen, Terry on Facebook wrote, I lost a granddaughter like this 14 years ago. I'm so sorry to hear that, Terry. My heart broke for her and my daughter. And then Eileen on Facebook wrote, did you just bash people for bashing people? I guess that's a direct comment to me. I don't recall ever bashing people. I just wanted to focus on the positive comments for Chrissy because this is a person who is going through probably the most traumatic experience of their life. So that's
and you hit it on the
goal.
head, Sam, when you said it's a person. It's a young woman. It's been through the worst pain imaginable. So, Erica, do you want to take us out with any thoughts?
Well, I feel like if you're going to be the basher, then you can be the bashee.
Yeah.
That is such an accurate thought.
You can say... Like, I don't understand. Like, are you getting mad at me because I was an ass? Yes. Yes, we are.
Erica,
that's coming from me, not from Sam.
Thank you for not mincing words, Erica. I appreciate you. And listen, we appreciate all your comments. We thank you, DBL Nation. We are new every day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Thanks, Erica. Thanks, Al. Bye, guys.
Love you.